Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching and or listening to this, I want to welcome you to a late episode of the Gaming Circle podcast. I am your host, Mr. K. Asante, TK Asante, in all places we find ourselves. And I am joined this week and every week, gladly, by the man, the myth, the legend, the one who's probably asleep in his Cybertruck right now, Mr. Everborn Saga. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
This is all Rand Althor's fault.
Oh, okay. We're blaming Rand. Okay, spill it. Let's go.
I was on the phone with Rand because he had pinged me something about the valve box and how he doesn't think it's going to work. And I was giving him a long dissertation about why he was wrong. And then I looked and it was 10:09 and I was like, oh crap, I got to call you back.
Yeah, and then Rand started rubbing his hands together and evil smiling, going, I have made him late for his own show.
Chat, blame Rand Althor.
Sure. Good stuff. Thanks to everybody for being here. Thank you for waiting. I see about 100 people in here right now. Appreciate y'all for being here through all the various platforms that we broadcast from. So this week is going to be a different week. We obviously there's some news to be talked about. There's some games that we're playing, and we're going to get into that as well. But you know what, Mr. Everborn Saga brought up a very interesting idea, and I thought, you know what, let's do it. And that is, we're going to give you our predictions for the game.
Oh, Rand is in the chat.
oh, there he goes.
Mr. Rand Althor. Everborn called me.
Yep, you see. There you go. So basically, you lied to the public. Thank you so much, Mr. Everborn.
Didn't lie. I was on the phone with Rand.
Saga. You said he called you. No, you called him. No.
I don't think I said that. Anyway, that's besides the point. The point is Rand kept me on the phone, and he is wrong. And I think the console manufacturers need to be very worried about a potential Steam box that we've been talking about.
You're putting the cart before the horse, sir.
I am. Let's all Rand's fault. Yes.
Sure it is. All right. Well, before we get started, the great Sith Lord, $2 super chat, and he's here just to start the weirdness this morning. He says, pineapple deep dish pizza time with Kay and Everborn. Now, I know you are a pineapple pizza dude, but pineapple deep dish? Like, seriously?
No, he's talking that Chicago stuff again. I don't know. These Illinois.
Isn't that just like a fruit salad with a cheesy crust? Anyway, I'm gonna have Chicago people coming after me. My bad. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for being here. Appreciate y'all. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. As you can probably tell, we are actually rounding the last couple of episodes of this year. Looking quickly at my calendar, looks like we have after this episode, we probably have 2 more in the tank before we are done for the year. Before it's Christmas times and birthday times and New Year's, this and all of that. So thank y'all continuing to rock with us this whole year. We see a lot of familiar faces, a lot of familiar names. Thank you guys so much for continuing to be here with us. Mr. Everborn Saga, sir, let us start this thing from the top because we want to make this thing a concise one this week. We'll start with you. What games you've been playing? What's going on?
All right, so I want to start with a platformer called Nico Dorico. It is a mascot style platformer, very sort of old school.
Sounds like a bully from the Jersey Shore. Anyway, I'm sorry to continue.
But basically it is the art style is very Crash Bandicoot.
Okay.
It has moments where it goes into sort of 2.5D. A lot of times where it's a regular 2D platformer. You jump on heads. It's wall jump, things like that. But it's a platformer through and through. It has a co-op function that I have not tried yet. It's already out on consoles. It came out maybe 2-3 weeks before on consoles, and now they just did the Steam release. So I picked that up. It's $30 if anybody wants to get it. But I see like you have it now. Like it's very very Crash Bandicoot style when it wants to be, but
I
then
think
it'll
the art
switch to a
style is
2D
also a
mode.
bit. I think the art style can also be a bit. I see from the gameplay of what you're talking about with the Crash Bandicoot, art style can be a bit Rayman, if I'm not mistaken,
I don't know if I'd call this a
what do you
Rayman.
call it? Or even the Dragon game. I actually played it not too long ago with my kids. Darn it, the game that we think Toys for Bob is remaking. I forget the name of the IP, but yes, I think this has a bit of art style. Spyro, there we go. Thank you, MJ Dark. This has a bit of that new Spyro feel to it as well. It
All right,
looks interesting.
and they switch it up enough because there are side little things you can find. This is one of them, right? You went off to the side instead of going forward, and
Yeah.
so you had that little mini game there, and then he'll go through this, and then he'll go to regular 2D platforming. So it's very like it it doesn't perform well yet on PC,
Okay.
right? I had to turn it down to
And I
720p
mean,
and medium
what are you
settings.
playing this on?
The Ally X.
Oh, okay. So this is not performing well on the Ally X.
Yeah, like dips, and it's weird dips. It's not that it doesn't seem like sometimes it'll be 60 and for random reasons, like you'll just stop in a place and it'll drop down to the 30s and 40s.
I mean, a little slander from me. I mean, looking at this game, I would expect this thing to be averaging over 100 or at least in the 75s or something
No,
like that.
I, absolutely. But when I will be fair to it, when I turned it down to 720 instead of 1080, it did stay a lot closer to 60. But again, this seems just like an optimization things because this should be 120 FPS game on what the Ally can do.
It does look beautiful though. It's great looking.
Yeah. So, but again, if you're into those old school platformers, so you see, like you're in the 2D platforming stage here. If you, now you're gonna go down this way and go through that wall. So, like as I said, they do a great job at switching it up. And if you're nostalgic for, mascot platformers, this has everything you remember.
It's
also good to play with the kids.
Oh, okay, cool. Like I'm always in search of a game I can play with my kids, so that's a definitely plus. Is the mascot like in the scenes where you see him or her interact? Because I'm not sure if
there's a him and a her. You can
there's a him and a her. Okay. And we won't talk about that. I know there's a lot of talk about.
No, I'm just saying there's a female.
No.
He has a female.
I know.
Sidekick.
I know. The minute we said that, it kind of jump started my brain on that conversation going on.
And here's another thing. Like it is like as you get to the later levels, like this seems like it's cookie cutter, it's easy. They do give you some obstacles that get quite difficult. So if you're into,
is this protagonist or should I say mascot,
I think he's a lion.
Charming? Oh yeah, it looks like a lion. Is it charming? Because Bandicoot did not win this race by just being a competent gamer, a platformer. It had a certain way, right? Just like Sonic has a way.
Right? So is Nico? I think that's
Mr. Dorico. Is Mr. Dorico the mobster from the Jersey Shore?
I don't know.
Is he doing it for you?
I don't know that he's necessarily a memorable character. Like he looks the part, right?
Yeah.
It
looks that way. Yeah.
Serviceable, but like, is he going to be a memorable character that people think about? I don't know, because even if you look at like Astro just has even though he doesn't talk, he has a certain personality that makes you say you want to see more from Astro. I don't know that this mascot has that kind of personality, but the gameplay itself is very very fun, and I'll recommend it from a gameplay perspective. But I don't know that this mascot has any staying power. If that answers your question, that's not a reason not to play it.
No, sure. I was just wondering if this is a contender in the all powerful battle that is mascots, right? And this looks interesting.
No. The game itself, yes.
Yeah,
If you like
the mascot
platformers, yes,
is
but
not. Yeah, okay.
I don't
You
know
don't
that.
think?
And
Okay,
listen, maybe
okay.
I'll play some more. Also, the game is almost fully voice acted,
Oh wow,
so
nice.
you do get that.
Is this like the first time studio? Do you know if they've done
I've
some
never
stuff
heard
in
of
the
them
past?
before, but I don't want to call
Okay,
them. I don't want to call them first timers.
sure, 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 sure.
But
Looks
again,
good
this
though.
this comes with high recommendations from Everborn if you are into platformers.
Okay, okay,
Uh,
excellent, excellent, excellent recommendation. You know, I'm sure this was on sale during the autumn sale
it
there.
Absolutely was not because
It
it came
wasn't.
out after
Okay.
the sale was over on the 5th,
Okay,
and
okay,
it
understood.
was $30. But I think for this and the production value, $30 is a
Is
good
worth it.
ask.
Cool,
They're
very
not doing
cool.
anything crazy like $40 and $50.
Sure, sure, sure.
Um,
MJ Dark, $2 super chat. He says, play Symphonia. It's Hollow Knight / Ori. Hey now, those are some good calls.
you
Symphonia.
know what?
Okay.
Let me go because he keeps telling me about this, and I keep saying yes. I'm going to check it out. Let me check this out right
Yep.
now.
Yep. And then of
That's the
course,
only way I'm going to remember.
the great Infinite Umbra has continued to be a member for 8 months. Thank you, sir. Just like you can, by the way, our wonderful audience, if you choose to and want to support the show as Mr. Infinite Umbra has done, you too can do so by hitting the like button. If you care to do so, that is free. And if you choose to want to be a subscriber, that also is free. That is right there on your screen. And maybe you wanna really show some support as Mr. Umbra is doing. You can go ahead and hit that member button as well. And obviously, we appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. And with the membership comes some perks. Check out the perks, including
By
the
the way,
VIP
Steam
section
calls this a
inside Discord.
precision platformer.
Okay, I can see that. Right? It
And
seems like
I
it
am
has
getting
precision platforming elements.
more Hollow Knight vibes than I am Ori, but we'll look at this some more.
And Mr. Umbra says that he posted a message, but it didn't pop up. My bad, sir. How about you post your message again here in the regular chat? I'll post it up.
Salty AF.
What's
He
going on, brother?
accidentally
Please
pressed the
speak
wrong
on it.
button and didn't post my
And
message.
didn't post the message. No worries. Post your message
All right,
here.
well,
I will make sure
tell us what you said, sir. You don't
That's
got
right.
to.
Come on. It's
you
all
know.
good. Yep. We appreciate you, bro. Thank you. So yeah, man. So okay. So you've been playing this.
I tried
I have
something
been.
else.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
You tried
Go
something
ahead.
else. Okay.
I
No.
tried
I was
something else.
just gonna say. Before you brought this game up, I actually I received an email from the publishing studio basically saying that they think I should try to get a code for this. That they know that I like these kind of games, so if I request a code, I may get it. So I did put a request in, so I may actually get a code for this. But I may just buy it anyway because it looks really good. It looks really, really nice.
I like
this speaks my
supporting stuff
language.
like this. They did a lot with the production value. So we got a new member, Tim the Sorcerer.
Tim the Sorcerer, new member. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much.
And we have a super chat from the one and only Pixelbit G. Shout out
the
my
great
guy.
Pixelbit G with a $2 super chat. He says, "Good morning to my GCP bros, best podcast. # no cap."
Hey, listen. If you are in the inner circle and you are listening to this, we're gonna do something later. I'm burying the lead, but I just want to give you guys a little bit of time.
I gave him a little bit of a heads up. I did. I sent a
Okay.
message out. So some of them may just provide their answers in other forums, but I've already even jump started on the visual aid. So we'll get there.
Okay. Yes. So we are later on, guys. So stay tuned for the whole show. We are good. We're making an Excel sheet and we're doing our predictions, and we're gonna go over every category or all the interesting categories. The interesting categories in the Game Awards, right. And we are going to fill out the sheet with our predictions, and then we're going to review it on next week's GCP to see who got the most right.
Indeed, that's what we do.
So the other game that I tried, and this is why, because it's me we're talking about here, and we know I don't do multiplayer games, but
yes sir,
I tried Marvel Rivals.
Speak on it, sir. I have been so excited to play this game. I played it in beta for a little bit, but I hadn't really like pulled the trigger on it until it came out recently. Like, as you know, I am also not a multiplayer guy, but those graphics, those characters, they got me, bro. How good is it? Is it good? What do you think?
Like I am giving it high praise, which means they're definitely doing something right because I don't play these
Okay.
kinds of games.
Okay.
I played as Bruce Banner because I was like, "Where's the Hulk?" But you select
Yeah,
Bruce
yeah, of
Banner,
course. Of
and then
course.
you get to change into the Hulk. But as Bruce, you get a gun, right? Like a light gun or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and it's very interesting in what they do. I couldn't, a lot of the times I didn't know what was going on, but it was still enough for me to feel like I was having fun. I think they're very generous with the health so that you can get into a fight and you're not dead as soon as you see someone. You kind of got to
Mhm.
duke it out a little bit and then you can go and re-up on health. But like all the different varied characters, it's like pure chaos,
Yeah.
but in the fun
Colorful
kind of way.
cacophony chaos, right? Lots of
Now,
color, a lot of
right,
splashy. Yeah.
and the animations, it is just, it feels like they understood the assignments. I don't know what kind of legs this is gonna have, but
Uh-huh.
like I think they have something very special here, especially
Yeah.
once you start selling those different skins for the different costumes, because
Yeah.
every
Yeah. Yeah.
character in Marvel has a million different costumes. Um,
If there is a
I
third
think
person, a third party multiplayer game that's gonna get me, it's gonna be this. Because I hate card games, and I played Marvel Snap for for a good while because I love Marvel so much. At least the characters. So yeah, I may get in on this with you there, man. I may get it because I love me some Marvel characters. How well
yeah,
do they
but
play as far as from a character
I
perspective?
only played as Bruce and the Hulk, which are
Okay.
two very different things. Because Hulk is like a melee character, so and this is another thing, like the way they work, like projectile characters against melee characters and make it work is super interesting.
Mhm.
Um, so like hats off to them. And again,
How do
I
how
don't
do
know
they
that
get
I'm
you to
gonna put.
change? How do you change from Bruce Banner to the Hulk? Is it at
You have to
will, or
press
do
the two joystick buttons in, like you
is
activate
there
Hulk.
sure, but is do you have to like get to like a level of anger, or does it just whenever you want you just press the button?
You can do it right away, but you may
Okay.
want to save it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then it
Is it
kind of
on the
has a
timer or something?
timer, and it's on a
Okay.
timer, but it's a very long timer.
Sure.
Like if
Sure. Sure. Okay.
if as long as you don't use it at the very beginning, you can probably be Hulk for the whole
Cool.
match. At least what I played.
Cool.
But you basically you start out shooting a little bit, and then you get into something crazy, and
So
then
so
that now you're the Hulk.
one quick question here, and Doctor Scotzi asks a very pertinent question that I heard that was brought up even during the
So
beta phase, and I also heard it from Mr. Wolf, Mr. John Wolf. Shout out to John Wolf in the chat, complaining about people not knowing how to play their roles in these games. We were talking to, he was in a chat as well. The problem that people that I heard was the issue that I heard was brought up with this specific game type is that mostly these games have roles, obviously, right? You have your medic class, you have your heavy, you have your all these various classes, and you have to have a team with a good amalgamation of the different roles in order to be a successful team and win your round, right? And it
so
looks
here's the
like
thing.
people are playing it like COD, like like is there a problem understanding the roles based on just the character set, right? Hey, do you know that Storm is a heavy versus I don't know Iron Fist being a rogue? You know what I'm saying? Like how does that work?
That's interesting, and I didn't think about that at all. But again, I'm not well versed in today's multiplayer games. Like I've literally
Sure.
never played Overwatch.
Yeah.
But what I will say is,
Yeah.
in
This is
terms of
literally
there being
Overwatch,
a
by the way.
healer, right?
Yeah.
Or Overwatch, but third person, right?
Yep.
But in terms of there being a healer, what I noticed that they've done is I don't know if there's necessarily a healer, but there are so many like health boosts all around. So it's almost
Mm-hmm.
like you're picking up a health power up.
Okay. Okay.
So if you get into too much, there's never a health thing that's too far away,
Yeah.
if that makes any sense. So
Yeah.
maybe there
Yeah.
aren't healers, but there
So
are like heavies and rogues and things like that.
like
But
looking on our screen right now, what I'm watching, right? obviously, I would think that Venom and the Hulk are the heavies, right? But beyond that, what would a medic class look like? What would another class like?
But Hulk
You
is
you
two characters in one though, which is, and I don't know who else is
true,
like that,
true. Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Because
Very. But I guess that's the question, right? All of these quote unquote hero
okay,
shooters
Zach
that
Riley
as
says there are
defined,
healers, by the way.
there are healers. Okay, so there you go. All these shooters, these hero shooters as defined by Overwatch, by Blizzard and all of that, right? They all tend to have these categories, right? And usually those characters are created very visually descriptive to let you know, okay, this is a tank, this is this class, this is that class. They do that very deliberately, so it's not very hard to see who's who and who does what. But when you're already dealing with with an IP set of characters that people know and love, right? How do you translate that? I guess is my question. Like that, and I guess it's a matter of time will tell, right? Because the game is now still fresh and everyone's testing out character sets and trying to figure out what they like. But ultimately, it'll be an interesting exercise to see who is considered a heavy versus, because I would think Storm is a heavy, right? But would you consider Storm a
Here's
heavy?
the
I mean,
problem. I don't know. I don't
she's
know
an
what a
atomic
heavy
level.
means in this.
A heavy. So a heavy would be a character who's a bullet sponge, a person who can take a lot of damage and is lumbering and can protect the other group. So
I don't think that would be
some of them have
Storm,
shields.
though.
Okay, but because but this is my point, right? Because in Marvel canon, she is a heavy, right? She's an atomic level mutant threat. When she shows up, people get scared. You know what I mean? Like, so from a power set perspective, she's a big dog in the room. She could fight Hulk, for example, right? Who you could also consider a heavy, right? But
well,
this is my point.
You would when you think of tanks or heavies, you think Hulk,
exactly,
and things like that.
Exactly.
But again, when I played it, and again, I know what these games do. Like they'll pair people who are new with a bunch of noobs and with bots, and then to make it so that you'll have a good time and feel powerful and win, and then they'll slowly remove that. So in the short time that I played, I don't know if I can make a full assessment on that, but I wasn't even thinking about who plays what roles because everybody was just attacking everyone.
Omega level, forgive me. Thank you for correcting my misuse of language, Mr. Infinumbra. I don't want any of the comic nerds coming for me, which I'm a comic nerd myself. Omega level threat. Forgive me. Continue. Yes.
But what term did you use?
Oh, now I forget. We can go back to the tape. I'll laugh at myself later.
So, but now here's one thing I do want to talk about, and this is for you, Jungle. How much of this is like the success here is on the animations and art style? Because the characters look cool.
But that's the thing, right? It seems and what we're watching is a very nice multiplayer game because there's PlayStation, Xbox, and PC gamers all in one thing. Which, by the way, obviously, since the multiplayer shooter, like you can play across the board, PC, everybody in the same bed, which is pretty awesome. I think the art style is doing the heavy lifting. The art style, the animation, it's an unabashed Overwatch clone. But even right now, you had me with Black Panther. You see that? It's a wrap. Come on, man.
Now,
Galactic Claw. Like, come on.
Now, here's the thing. We've had some recent high-profile failures. Knowing that what happened with Foam Stars is shutting down. They're getting their last update. We heard X Defiant. Right, obviously Concord.
Fuzzy Tomato says Concord probably had better gameplay. So
yeah, but look at those characters. And I know everybody gave folks like John and Lucius Augustus a lot of crap because they said the character designs really hurt Concord. But look at this, right?
No, that's true.
The art, animation,
and
cool looking characters.
So let me say
doing
this.
the heavy lifting. You admit
it is not fair to compare Concord, an IP of nobodies that no one's ever heard of before, to Marvel, an IP set that everyone, like, it's literally like it's single-handedly is the only reason why people go to the theater anymore. Like it's an unfair comparison. You're
Well,
comparing
not
Goliath
these
to
days.
David.
As Dune
Well,
and
yeah, yeah.
Oppenheimer is making more money than the recent
Sure.
Marvel movies.
But
sure.
you understand what I'm saying. You're comparing Goliath to David, and it's just not. It's not the same. It's not a fair comparison. Although I do understand your point. I get what you're saying.
I think it is.
It's not a fair comparison because come on, even if these were ugly looking Marvel characters, people would try them just because they're Marvel characters.
I don't know that that's true. Right? And John Wolfe says, how did that work out for the Avengers games?
Well, no. The Avengers games had didn't have ugly characters.
Nobody liked the way those characters looked.
That wasn't the problem with the Avengers.
They thought they were budget MCU, if you remember that correctly. Remember when they revealed
that? And remember, that was the initial take. I agree with you on that. Absolutely, the initial take was, oh, these are off-brand Marvel-looking characters. You're absolutely right. But when the game came out, you got over the characters immediately. You found out that the campaign was really solid, and that the multiplayer aspects of it is what brought it down. Right. And to this day, that campaign, if you can work your way around the multiplayerness of it, the live serviceness of it, the campaign is freaking solid. Great game. Played great, looked great. It was great. Right. It was just the multiplayer, the reason, and what I mean by the multiplayerness is the fact that you have to go around collecting parts of components of a superhero that, in real canon have no bearing on that superhero. You got to collect exoskeletons for the Hulk to make him more powerful. Come on now. That's not how that works, right? The Hulk is the Hulk. He is powerful. So those mechanics kind of let down the actual game. Had they separated the multiplayer from the campaign, that's a strong campaign. I think, I actually rolled credits on the campaign. I really, really enjoyed it. I think people will have enjoyed it. It was at the level of all the other Marvel.
So A. Rodimus says, outside of Spider-Man, where has there been a truly successful Marvel game property? There have been several, sir. We could talk about Marvel Snap, right?
True.
That's been super successful. They've had a ton of things on mobile. There's been a lot of successful Marvel games. Anyways,
true.
The point is,
so you like this? You're going to play more of this?
Absolutely not. I just wanted to see what it was, and I had fun. But I don't do these type of games. I don't have time.
Okay.
I if they had some kind of a campaign, I'd play it. But
you see, there you go. This is my man right here. This is why and I.
But again, I loved what I played. I will just.
It looks great. It looks great. It really does. Right. I wish, I love that this exists, because now I wish that any other folks that end up playing in the Marvelverse see this as a reference design and maybe borrow the art style. I need a campaign in this world. It would be really great, right? It kind of does have a little bit of that Fortnite energy, a little bit of the overcolor saturation with the colors and stuff. But hey, it works. People like it, and I actually think the art style does it pretty well. So I hope we see more in it. Even though, like you, this may not be in the long term my kind of game. So it is what it is. We shall see. Anyway, what's going on to the great Septic One? What's going on, brother? How you doing? It's good to see you. It's been a minute. Hope all is well. Now, okay, go ahead.
One more thing.
Say? Yeah.
The other game that I've been playing a lot, not a lot, right? But I'm up to like 20 hours, is Dragon Age Veilguard. And
tell me your feelings with Dragon Age Veilguard.
I think I'm falling
where
out
are
of
we
love
now?
with the game.
Okay, so where are you in the story?
I am about 20 hours in. I have collected all of the companions that you can get. We are trying to get the wardens, the Grey Wardens, to help us build an army
where you
for
are.
what is
exactly where you are. I'm exactly. Have you has there been, without spoiling it, has there been a punch yet?
What do you mean a punch? No, I don't think
punch.
There's been No, I haven't. I'm very on edge with him, but I think the next time I meet him, it's gonna go down, because he's been talking a little bit too hot every time we meet. The bald guy with the porn stash. the head of the Grey Warden.
Yeah. And you recognize their voices, right? A lot of these are very famous, like actors and TV show actors, and you can even see some of their likenesses in the game.
Yeah,
That
so
Grey Warden specifically is one of them. But yes, continue.
here's the problem. I love the combat in this game. I've said this every week since I started playing it.
Yeah.
But I am now nearly 20 hours into the game, if not more than 20. And I just don't care about any of the characters or what happens to them next. And I am not skipping through dialogue because I don't believe in that. But in an RPG, and I'm all about gameplay, yes. But in an RPG specifically, there needs to be a plot or a narrative that is keeping me going, right? I wasn't a huge fan of the moment-to-moment gameplay of Final Fantasy 16, but that narrative was super compelling, right? And I put down Metaphor, which had a super compelling narrative, to play this game. And I've been playing it, but I'm like, and I keep hearing, give it time, finish Act 1. I think I'm close to getting to the end of Act 1. But like,
how many hours in did you say you were? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. How many hours did you say you were in?
Maybe 19 or 20.
So it's hilarious, real quick, because you and I are exactly the same place in the same storyline, like exactly the same. I'm thinking we are like minutes away from each other. I might be just a little further than you. I am 39 hours and 42 minutes in. And that means I've done all the side quests and you've done none of them.
Yeah, I'm beelining because I don't care. I don't care about anybody in there.
Yeah.
Now,
but I will say quickly, I do feel exactly the same way you do. Like I've been trying to bring myself to care about the combat, not the combat. I love the combat. To care about the story. I get the story. I understand the story. I'm still keeping up with the story, but I could give a crap. Like I could care less. Maybe it's how they're doling it out, or I don't know why. But I just don't care.
Here's the thing. Like Fuzzy Tomato says, the narrative is about to get a lot more interesting, and then Lucius Augustus says the end of Act 1 is where you recognize if you like the game because it's the end of Act 1 is super compelling. This is the problem. I've been hearing that, and there's nothing against you guys, right? But you know that commercial where the guy has the fishing rod and he has $1 and he's like, oh, you almost got it, it's almost there, it's almost about to get compelling. And I'm like 20 hours into a game is not enough for me to care about it yet. Like,
you know what
it is.
Where are you playing this, by the way? On the LIX?
Absolutely not. I'm playing this on the 4090. I'm playing it with the best graphics, all of that.
Okay.
So
I've been playing it basically on my handheld, but okay.
I understand that it might get better, but the idea that you got to play a game for 20 hours before the narrative becomes compelling.
Hey man, look, that show is awesome. You just got to get to season 45 first.
Yeah, like that. I don't know. So
One Piece is the greatest show ever. You just have to watch 15 seasons to get there or something. You know what I mean?
So, and that's really the thing, right?
Good morning, Xbox Expansion Pass. What's going on, Luke Lord? Nice to see you, brother.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it is, with all these other stuff, like we are on the eve of Indiana Jones, right?
Which I
just talked about a new really good indie platformer. There's all of these other things, and you're taking 20 hours to get to the effing point.
Oh, I see what you're doing there. You're resenting the game now. I see you. You're like, why don't you finish already?
My thing is this. I could have been putting this time into Metaphor, and I would have been engaged the whole time, because all the hours that I put into Metaphor, I was engaged from moment one.
Okay. I see what you're doing.
I stopped playing that so that I could play this, and I'm starting to regret that decision.
You're resenting it. I see. Okay. I'm not quite resenting it, and I think I will finish it, right? Because I've been okay with playing it on
RJ Funtime. We're talking about Dragon Age: The Veilguard, a game that I started off very high on it, but the story is not grabbing me yet. That's what, in case anybody's just coming.
Yeah, because I've been playing it on the handheld, I feel like it gives me the ability to just kind of put a little bit of time in, whenever possible, just pick it up and go, right? So it's led to me playing it far more. If I regulated myself to only 40-90 time, I probably would not be as far into it as I am now. So no, I understand where you're coming from, but I would say I want to get to like exactly to what Lucius and them were saying, right? I want to at least get to the like finish chapter, the act 1, and
You know
then
what the
make that
problem
decision
is?
whether I want to
You
go
know
to
what the
act 2 or
problem
not.
is when too many people say that?
Then
Like,
you become a contrarian and you don't want to
no,
you
no,
don't
no,
want
no,
to
no,
find
no.
out
It's not that. It becomes so built up, right?
that it
If
can never
this
live up to
thing
it.
doesn't cure cancer at the end of Act 1, like, I'm gonna be even more pissed off.
Oh, come on, bro. You gotta calm down, bro. It's not that serious.
I know, but that's the point. It's not that serious,
Yeah, it's not that
right?
serious, bro. It's definitely not that
That's
serious.
my whole point. I want it to get more serious.
Yeah, no, I feel you. So are you saying that you're basically done with it? You're not gonna play any more of it?
I don't want to say that. I will I will come back to it. But again, on Monday I'm gonna play Indiana Jones, and if that grabs me, then I'm just gonna have to get back to Dragon Age after Indy.
Yep. Now, speaking of indie, let me catch up with some
Lucius,
super
I
chats
will
real
tell
quick.
you what chapter I'm on
Okay.
right after the show. I just have to go and turn on the machine
Yep.
and start it and see what chapter it says I'm in. I don't know what chapter I'm in.
So Rick L, become a member of the channel. Thank you, Rick L. We appreciate you, brother. It's really cool. Mr. MJ, well, MJ. J Mac, member for 10 months. Thank you so much for being here, brother. Always appreciate your support. He says, I downloaded Marvel Rivals last night. What I noticed is it doesn't seem as frenetic as Overwatch. It seems a little slower. Now, I hope, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I hope that's a good thing, because it looks pretty cool to me, in my humble opinion.
It doesn't seem like there's
I'm
a
not
dodge
gamer like that.
mechanic.
Okay.
I don't know if you're supposed to have it.
Remember, you're a superhero. You are a god among men. Who you dodging? There's also
Yeah,
there should
but
also
I'm
be
playing,
no
like,
there should
I'm-
also
if
be
I'm
no like
playing as
block or
Bruce Banner.
barriers to hide behind her or something. You know?
Right, but if I'm playing as Bruce Banner, and I gotta run around with that run and gun stuff, he does run a little bit slow. So I could see why J Mac would say that. Everyone did seem to be running very slow, at least the people that were around me and and Hulk. So I don't know if there's a run button.
Yeah.
But okay, some characters apparently have dodge, just not Bruce and the Hulk.
Okay. So real quick before we just we'll get to some of the other topics. Let me talk real quickly about just some games I've been playing. My quiet game that I play in the background whenever possible, I've been playing it for almost I'd say a year now, is Neon Abyss. Have you heard of this game, Neon Abyss?
It sounds familiar. It sounds familiar.
It's an older game. It's been out for a while, and I think it's been on Game Pass even for some time as well. Came and went, but I bought it on Steam many. Well, how many? I'd say I think it came out in 2020, so many years now, and it's this charming 2D style dungeon crawler kind of game, and like it lends itself very well to like a Steam Deck, like any handheld where you want to just sip TDP for a while, play some games. So I've been playing that for some time. Like I have some footage on the screen right now. It is quite fun. Like if you ever catch this on a Steam sale, or you find some vendor that's selling it for cheap, you definitely should get it. It's really fun. Like it's mindless, but it's also intelligent, very clever. It's one of those kind of games where they just throw weirder and weirder style guns at you, and the power-ups are just crazier and crazier. You start off like a cool little 2D character, as you see on my screen here, and as you get your power-ups, they put glasses on you, they put a horn on your horns on your head, you have bullets that bounce off walls, and you're incubating little eggs that turn in themselves into beings that also augment your capabilities as you're going into dungeons and more dungeons. It is quite fun. Like I really find this game very much a podcast friendly kind of game, right? The music is fun. There's no voiceover. You can choose to listen to the music, or you can choose to put on your favorite podcast in the background and just kind of turn your brain off and go at it for a while. Pause. But no, I really enjoy it. I think it's a very fun game. I think more people should play it if you haven't played it already. Mr. Everborn Saga, I think this is something that would be up your alley, man. I don't know if you've ever tried it before, but it is quite fun.
This is one of the first games I bought on the Steam Deck.
There you go.
So I've had this for a long time. Never played it though, but
it's
I do
very fun. It is very fun. Like I love that game. So there's that. Another game that I spoke about last week, I'll reiterate: Street Fighter 6. So for those who know, we have a pretty fun Discord group, and from time to time, every day, there are people in there. We're doing voice chats, right? In addition to some of the texts and whatnot on the different channels. But by and large, during the week, if you have a chance to and you want to jump into our Discord, you'll see a couple of the brothers hanging out, just having a chat about life, about games, about whatever. And from time to time, when I jump in there, I will, and I'm in my home office, I will put on a game and I'll play and I'll stream it to our Discord audience while we're chatting. And my stream game of choice the last couple of days has been Street Fighter 6. I really love that game, man. It's growing on me more and more, and it's making me like ask the question why it is that we as a community have stepped away as a fighting game genre. Why that genre has been put to the side and become more niche. You know, I think we talked about it last week. I miss the days when it was in AAA conversation, when it was the gaming genre rather than a niche gaming genre that it is today. The more you play it, the more fun it just becomes, the more you learn the systems. It's really, really good. And of course, Street Fighter 6 continuing that lineage, really, really awesome game. So there's that. There's Balatro. I've spoken about Balatro at length, so we're not going to talk about that. But yes, play Balatro if you haven't already. Even if you're not a card game guy, it's an amazing card game. But I will let Mr. Infinite Umbra's last tweet that I saw here, comment in the chat that I saw here, lead us into the next game I've been playing. And he wrote, and I think this is what he put in the super chat thing that it didn't work. So shout out to you, Mr. Infinite Umbra. He says, "Good morning, Keosante and Everborn. I've been trying to play Indiana Jones on my PC, but I've been running into a bunch of issues, from stuttering to frame rate, FPS drops, slight freezing and popping. Is anyone else having
Let me ask
issues?
You a question. Are you playing on Steam or are you playing through the Xbox launcher?
That is a good question. In other words, did you pay $100 for this game or $35? That's the question he's asking you, because that's the only way to play it on Steam right now, paying the $100 version. And while waiting for his answer, I will also say Tim the Sorcerer with a €2 super chat. Thank you, sir. He says, for backlog sufferers, try Catan. Catan. Try Kanban like Trello. Yeah, sir. You wanna add like a database to your backlog?
Hold on, Kay. I need you to do something. I need you to look in the Gaming Circle Discord.
Okay.
And look at the photoshops that have been done.
Of?
I'm not even gonna tell you. I just want you to look in the game.
Oh my God!
This is FarQ.
Oh my! The great FarQ has struck, and man, oh my! Okay. Lord, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna show the public these, because man. And
see, this people is why you need to be in the GCP man. Discord if you're not already.
FarQ is brilliant. Holy crap, this is just so good. Anyway, oh man, how am I going to share this? I
don't think you should show it. I think you should get people to go to the Discord. That's what you should do. If you're not signed up for the Discord, we're not going to tell you what this is, but you don't want to miss it.
Oh my God,
you need to be in the GCP Discord. So put the link to Discord in the chat.
Oh, the Discord link is already there, man. You just check under the channel. It's right there.
In case people only read the comments.
Yo, man,
his sorcerer is ready to join. We got to put that invite out there.
Okay. His AI or his Photoshop game is second to none, man. That's all I can say. FarQ, you are the man, bro. Wow, what an accomplishment. Anyway, Anyway, I'll put the Discord link in the chat. Give me a moment to rustle that up. But let's talk to Infinite Umbra here. Umbra, I think he was saying that it was, did he say the Xbox launcher? Yes, he said the Xbox launcher. He said the Xbox launcher. So Everborn Saga, this brings me to my topic, and we will address this, Umbra. I know I did hear in the background that you were having some issues. I was talking to MJ. He was telling me that you were having some issues. I too had some issues, not exactly the same issues you were having, but I had some issues, and we'll talk about that at the beginning of this real quick. But just so you guys know, no spoilers here, right? The footage that I'll be, and Lucius coming in the clutch. Thank you, good brother. He spams the chat with the Discord link. Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. It's hard talking and producing at the same time. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. So yes, join that Discord, man. Become a member. Join us. And if you happen to be a member of our channel here, you get access to the VIP Discord channel. From time to time, I drop codes in there and stuff like that too. So whatever you want to do, we appreciate you. Thank you so much. Anyway, so I started playing Indiana Jones. I wasn't one of the Ascended ones, so I didn't get access to an Ascended code. Instead, I did the early access version, and I appreciated doing it because I wanted to play this game for a minute, so I was fine doing that. So, first off, just so you know, there will be no spoilers here. What you will see here from as far as my footage is the first like 20 minutes, which is literally like Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like you've seen it, the 1981 beginning of the movie. Like you've seen it. It's exactly the same footage. They basically recreated it. It's been in the ads. You know, that's all it is here. And this is like really not a spoiler because it's a shot for shot from the movie remake, where you're walking into the tomb, you know, he's switching the idol for the bag of sand, running out with the ball chasing him, right? So that's all this is. So there you go. And you're not going to see anything more, no more to the story beyond that. That's all we're doing. So yes, when I first started this, I chalked it up to potentially shader compilation stutters for my brothers who don't play on PC. That's when it detects the type of hardware you have and then starts to cache the shaders so that it can stream smoothly when you're playing it. But before it finishes caching, it choppy. Some games will do the full compilation caching right at the beginning so that it can be smooth. Others do most of it at the beginning, and then whenever new assets are streamed in, it'll do a little bit of the stutter, And I kind of detected that they was doing a bit of the stutter there. So there was that. Beyond that, and yeah, you see I'm doing my PC thing. This is my first line of footage. Beyond that, what else I've seen is every once in a while you'll see that there's a little bit of graphical glitches, just a little bit weirdness, graphic glitchiness on the screen. This is literally fresh. The game is not technically even a hit street date yet, right? So I imagine that all this will be sorted out momentarily. You know, patches will be released, things like that. So that's what it is. And yes, I'm playing on the big boy, so I put everything to max. So that's the footage you're seeing on your screen right now. If you're not seeing it clearly, you know, blame StreamYard. It's just one of those things. Maybe we'll switch to OBS one of these days. We'll see. Anyway, and by the way, Umbra, I will work with you. Like, holla at me in the background. We'll definitely talk about it. If you're still having issues, I'll do my best to help you out. I know that there have been people who have been having some issues. I won't talk more about it because I want you, Mr. Everborn Saga, to at least get your hands on it and start playing the game. But I will tell you, like, I would say about an hour that I have of this game, I'm very, very, very high on this game so far. You know, it could fall off a cliff, right? It could fall off a cliff, but right now, and since we were talking about Mr. Infinite Umbra, I'll bring up the engine is insane, like insane how optimized and well it's running. Okay, you can't see it on the screen right now if you really zoom in the top left-hand corner, because I was a benchmark at testing as well as playing. Well, not benchmark testing, but I was basically like monitoring the average frames. I'm about 185 frames per second on my PC playing this game. Everything maxed out, right? Yes, I did use frame gen, and I didn't use frame gen, but I did use DLSS upscaler, right? And I'm sure if I turned DLSS upscaler off, it would probably be average 80, 85, 90, somewhere like that. But with DLSS on, I am averaging, like right now, as I'm looking, I'm at 178, 170, like 76, averaging frames like that. Very, very well optimized game. Like very well optimized game, right? There are glitches here and there. The game is still kind of got little bugs here and there that I suspect will be worked out soon enough. But man, oh man, and you can see it if you're looking on my screen right now. You may see a little bit of the glitchiness. I'm showing that off, and it only happened right at the beginning of the game. So 15 minutes in, I tried to record more footage, could not reproduce any of that. Could not reproduce any of it. It was then running smooth as butter. Everything was fine. But in the beginning, there was some hitching, right? I need you to finish, to get your hands on it, put at least an hour into this game so we can talk more about it. But I will tell you, my first hand off the rip take is they have threaded the most delicate of needles here, which is in a world where its predecessors exist, which namely Uncharted and Tomb Raider. They have been, which of course all cribbed from this original IP. They have been able to establish their own ground. They have been able to carve a niche out for themselves that nobody thought they could, because Uncharted and the likes of Tomb Raider exist. Right now I've heard some takes about and the reviews have come out, and we'll talk about the reviews in a bit. I've heard some takes about how people are criticizing some of the gameplay elements and whatnot, but I think, and we'll talk more about that when you've had a chance to play it. I think that their criticism is more to do with the fact that we live in a post Uncharted and Tomb Raider world where you have this wonderful, likable character who has his awesome crew of guys, and they're talking and they're having drinks and they're having beers and they're chilling and hanging out, and then 5 minutes later they turn into murder machines, just like killing everyone in sight, right? Or you're this wonderful eyes wide open girl with all her future ahead of her, getting into her power, being very, very self-conscious, and then 2 minutes later she's climbing out of the mud, all Rambo style, stabbing dudes in the neck with a knife, right? Like the ludonarrative dissidents in those games, while they have existed for so long, have trained our consumer base to expect that, right? And I'm thinking this game counteracts that in many ways, and those who are expecting that kind of game may find themselves, I wouldn't say disappointed, but surprised at how the gameplay elements work here, right? I know you haven't played it, Mr. Everborn Saga, so I guess I'll ask the question, when do you think we can have this conversation? Can we have this conversation with 2 episodes left before we're done for this year? Can we have this conversation this year?
Okay. This year. I do plan on playing it next week. I'm going to try the Game Pass version.
Okay, you should.
There's one hiccup, I swear to God.
Oh, calm down. And by the way, Alfred Molina, I wonder if he was contacted and told that he'd be in this game. Because it's just awesome. The first thing I saw, I was like,
I just want to know whether he got paid.
Yeah, me too. That'd be just Doc Ock, you know, like
contacted. Did he get, because they could contact you and say, hey, we're doing this.
I
want to know if he got the RDJ. You use my digital likeness. You got to pay up.
You got to pay up. Like, yeah. I don't know about that. Right? Because when he was part of this franchise, this was 1981. I don't think that contract was so well written during those days. But we shall see. So yes, I've been playing this. I have been really enjoying my time with it. Like I really have, and I'm very reluctant to spill any beans or to even talk about any of the gameplay elements, because even any of that, I think all of that is worth experiencing for yourself firsthand. I would say Don't let people tell you how this game is. Figure it out for yourself, right? I would tell you to do that. It's what I wanted. It's what I expected them to do, and they've succeeded so far. So far.
You mean
right?
you didn't want an Uncharted clone?
I was dreading an Uncharted clone.
You didn't want a third person cover based
That's the
heavy
thing,
on
right?
cinematics and
oh my god,
QTEs?
FarQ
That's not what you were looking for?
FarQ, now you're using your powers for evil, sir. That's some BS what you just did right now. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh, okay, we need to move on. FarQ, I'm gonna turn the Discord off because otherwise you're just gonna ruin the show for me this time. Damn, what are we doing?
No, see, it's not. People, you need to be in the Discord.
Oh Lord, this is too much, sir. You need to stop that. Anyway, but yes, I will. As y'all see, like this is literally just the movie. Like you see, and you see the glitches. I don't know if you're seeing the glitches on your side, but there's small little graphical glitches on the screen from time to time. But yes, more people should play it. The next time we have this conversation.
You know, when you watch a movie and they'd have the frame splices.
Yes, and what you will find, and I've seen IGN has done like a frame for frame like comparison. The color accuracy that they like, you can tell that the team sat down and went, you know what, we're going to recreate this beginning as a way of getting into this game. And man, oh man, did they do a painstakingly good job. Like from the colors to the moment to moment to the conversation, like it is spot on, like spot. It just crazy to the point where after playing this, I actually went and watched this scene again. I have this in my collection, and man, the color reproduction. It is so accurate, and obviously this even looks better than the movie did, right? But it's like if they had next generation cameras when they were filming this movie, this is what it would look like, and it looks like it's the real freaking film. It's nuts how well they've recreated.
You don't feel like it steps into a little bit of the uncanny valley,
like slightly, like just a toe in the waters. But it's so good that I'll allow it. Like, it's just so good. It really is. It's freaking amazing. Like, very, very well done. It's insane. And another point to the graphic engine, like not like consistently every time, but from time to time when you're watching cutscenes or even in game, because every in-game cutscene is an actual in-game like rendering. It's not a cutscene like a pre-rendered footage. They're all like live in the game. And from time to time when you're watching a cutscene, it's like knocking on the door of Hellblade 2. Like how well realized visually he is. It's just insane how well realized it is. It's phenomenal. Like graphically, wow. Like the attention to detail in the costuming and the environmental details they provide and the storytelling, it is something else, right? You guys have heard me talk about 4-quadrant games, right? We talk about 4-quadrant movies that have something that everyone can enjoy, right? And in the game parlance, I usually use a reference point, something like God of War or Spider-Man, as a reference point to say that is a 4-quadrant game. I think this is the closest to a 4-quadrant game that Microsoft has ever produced, right? Anyone, like early in, my thoughts could completely change the next time we talk about this, but early in, I believe this game should have been released in the summertime when everyone could give it the attention. If you really care about the Game Awards, and we're going to talk about the Game Awards today, like it's a Travis Democracy that this did not get its chance to fight in those waters, because I think it would have had a very good. It'd
and
be
whose
very
fault
good.
Is that?
That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm just here talking about the game. Yeah. See, first time I did this,
you're talking about Travis Shimakaries. I'm just asking if it's a Travis Shimakari. Whose fault is it?
Yeah. No. Look. You have a point. I'm not saying you don't. I'm just saying that doesn't help us. So we're just moving on. We're just moving on. But yes, this is the first, right? And actually, last bit of slanderous take before we move on from this topic. Like, I am down with the brother, Lord Cognito. I always will be. He has coined the term #JustOne. This does not fall within the #JustOne realm, but I kind of feel like this is Microsoft or this is Xbox saying we don't need to give you the #JustOne based on the parameters of the other guy. This is our way of doing our #JustOne, and it's so well executed that once you play it, we'll have that conversation. I really think that they went, yeah, we heard you. You know, we know those parameters of what #JustOne means. We're not going to completely fulfill it with this game, but we think you'll allow it, and I'll allow it. I really will. I think this is like so well executed. Anyway, let us move forward. I don't want this to be a one-sided conversation where I'm sitting here just throwing gobs and gods of praise at this game. I want people to play it. I want people to experience it for themselves, and then we'll get there. And we're getting into spoiler talk right now, so we'll get out of there. But yes, thank you all so much for being here. Once again, hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Consider subscribing if you haven't done so. We were hoping to hit 3K by the end of this year. Doesn't look like we'll get there, but we still appreciate your support anyway. You know, maybe there's some Christmas miracles. By the way, Christmas is my birthday, so if you want to give me a Christmas present, hit that like
December 16th for me. You want to do something for my birthday? Go to everbornsaga.com. Get some of those comics. There you go. Just saying.
Yeah. Yep. In 2 Mondays from now. So remember that, people. Like, if you have FARQ, if you have a choice a choice Photoshop, save it for December 16th on a Monday. Anyway, so all right. I think we've talked about games enough. I do want to talk. You and I are going to do I want us to do like you suggested. I want us to do a conversation where we really discuss who we think will be the winners and losers at the Game Awards. When we get there, I think we'll also ask our audience and our community to weigh in as well. But before we get there, I don't want to bury the lead anymore. I think we should have this conversation right from jump, and that is what we think is happening in the world of PC/console vis-a-vis Valve and what
I thought you were going to say
potentially bringing.
But we won't. I won't trigger you so early.
Oh, you little son of a you know what. Anyway, so what am I talking about? I'm talking about the fact that rumors and speculation are swirling. Rumors abound that Valve is now cracking the nut, as it were, on their plans to basically like eat into all of the gaming avenues, right? They have been peripherally like related to VR for a while. They're working on a new VR headset, right? You would say they kickstarted the handheld craze in the PC parlance in the zeitgeist, even though Nintendo had been there for a minute and a half, and we had some other creators there too. But these guys really put it into the zeitgeist and made it trending. They're working on there's rumors of their new headset that they've already started talking about. I'm a proud owner of a Valve controller, which a Steam controller, which didn't work out so well. I have 2 of them. I'm looking at one of them right now. There's rumors that they're working on that as well. And now we're also catching wind on rumor and speculation of another kind that you and I have been talking about would be their game changer all this time. And that is them having overtures towards opening the door towards a set-top box under your TV, right? And why do we say this? I'll just put this on the screen. This has been found through a leak recently, through a document. It wasn't a leak. They basically put it out on their site, like unceremoniously, just quietly, just put it out on their site. And if you start reading what these things mean, it's really, really descriptive as to what the future holds for them. And Mr. Everborn Saga, you know, I know you and I have both been really, really talking about this at length for some years now, and it's now looking like it's coming more to fruition in the short term very, very soon. I think 2025, early 2025, we're going to see all this stuff start coming down the pipe. What is your initial take of this, sir, with all the rumors coming out?
So
how do you see this going? Yeah.
We had a long discussion about this in the Discord, and you and I have just been talking about this forever. And it's funny now, all the articles are coming out.
Right? It's like they've been watching GCP for a while, and now they're just taking our talking points. But
I mean, whether they were watching us or not, let's just say we were ahead of the curve. Now, that being said, there's so many things happening in the market now. And yes, there's rumors that are pointing to them releasing a set-top box for under the TV, but I think it's more than that, right? The big thing here is the proliferation of a Valve-supported Steam OS, and what makes that important is that there are many people who are like hardcore gamers. They're console gamers. These are people that will spend $700 on a PS5 Pro, for Pete's sake. They've got the money, but they don't go to PC because they have certain misconceptions about.
I thought you said about to say they got the money, but they didn't got the sense. But I'm sorry.
So they've got misconceptions about what it is to game on PC, and a lot of that has to do. Some of it is money, right? But I think a lot of it has to do with what their perception of the user experience is, right? And some people just don't. They're associating it with gaming at a desk. They're associating it with mouse and keyboard. They're associating it with driver updates, as though their consoles don't constantly have updates, right? So
hey, look at you.
Listen. They're associating it. Shout out to Lucius Augustus. They're associating it with Windows.
Yep.
And that user experience, right?
Yep, true.
And a lot of people don't want that. And anyone who has tried a Steam Deck will tell you that is a console in sheep's clothing, or a PC in sheep's clothing, I should say, right? But the OS lends itself to that.
It's a PC and console clothing.
Right. And again, for those that want to do more, they can. But for those that don't, Valve has you covered. And that is before we get to the fact that they just have all the games, right? Right now, Sony has to wait to get Indiana Jones. Shouldn't get it all, but whatever. But they've got to wait to get Indiana Jones. And right now, Xbox has to wait to get Black Myth Wukong and Final Fantasy and all the other stuff, right? Wow. But you know who gets all of that stuff?
I'm sorry. I will continue to derail, and I blame you, FarQ. You are a mad genius, sir. Mad genius. I'm sorry.
So anyway, my point is, I think it is very compelling, and the ecosystem that Microsoft is pitching and leaning into with every update. There's a nice update about your saves going across, all that stuff, handheld, all that stuff. As we've said multiple times, Steam is doing that today. And what I view this as is not, oh, we want to get PC gamers in the living room. I view this as a Trojan horse. And you may say, well, Valve tried this before. It was called Steam Machines and it didn't work. Guess what? Valve didn't make the hardware then, and they didn't have Proton.
Yeah, it was a different
We're
world.
in a completely different world. Yeah. And so now that we are in that world of so many console people transitioning to PC, if you can give those people who want to game in the living room, in the bedroom, on a TV, a user experience that cohesively ties it to all that other stuff, guess what? They may be eased into, hey, I can play on a handheld. Hey, I don't primarily want to play at my desk, but I can because this experience is not foreign to me. And so I'm saying all this to say, last thing.
Go ahead.
I know the thing is, can Valve service that market? The Steam Deck only sold 10 million or less or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're talking about a very different thing here, because this is not just Valve making a box. This is them licensing that OS to where OEMs like Asus and Dell and Lenovo and any of the other Ioneos of the world, and all that bevy of devices, they're making gaming PCs, they're making gaming handhelds. And if there's one UI that can tie it all together, and people get a hold of that. Because when I switched to PC, I was like, I'm going to use the Xbox PC app. And then I started getting exposed to Steam and that ecosystem in big picture mode. And you start to realize the console guys have been, selling snake oil for far too long. And if something is there that opens people's eyes to what is available, again, in a package they're comfortable with, I think the console guys should be worried.
So the only and I love you using the talking points. I love you talking the way you are, because like keen-eared individuals will recognize that we have been having these conversations for a long time. And back in the day, and before you push back on me, Everborn, you will one day make me hunt down episode 12 or something when we were talking about this, and you were convinced that PCs were spreadsheet machines. And now you are very much on the other side of the looking glass, sir, and I am very happy for it. So thank you for joining us. The only pushback I see in this world, right, and I agree wholeheartedly with all that you're saying, the only place that will always have, at least currently, space on Windows, right? Because I feel like the way you describe it is a very very good description, being specifically those who were console gamers who are now jumping into the PC waters because of all it's seeing to offer, right? The people who've been gaming on PC for a while have other parts to gaming that console folks maybe don't spend as much time on, right? And what do I mean by that? I'm talking about mods. I'm talking about, there are some gamers like Windows PC gamers who, like, mod support is so heavy that it is a make or break for whether they play a game or not, right? There are many gamers who live and die on gamers, not Gamers Nexus, on what is it? Nexus mod, right? Who like a large swath, so much so that Valve actually even created the workshop section. And I don't know, Everborn, if you've ever played with the workshop section of Steam. I don't even know how that workshop section works seamlessly, if it does, on Steam Deck, for example, right? And that's basically how you could mod your game, right? Either put third-party mods in from outside the internet, or they allow you a space within Steam to modify games and put it out there. There's mods, there's cheats, there's all these other like meta-related aspects to gaming that today won't translate well to Steam OS being everywhere. So to my understanding, there will at least be a contingency of folks that will want and keep Windows around for modding purposes, right? It's exactly the same reason why, even to this very day, Minecraft streamers, right, take over the world. And I know this because my kids watch them all the time. Like they have millions of followers, right? The reason why those Minecraft followers are still on Minecraft Java edition, even though there's many new versions, is because those mods don't work in those new versions. So to this very day, the original version of Minecraft is what a lot of these modders still, a lot of these Minecraft streamers still use in order to add your like, people are putting like Mario Brothers and all these other weird characters and doing code mods and things like that in Minecraft. Can't do it in the new versions, right? And across the board, those who like mods will find that Proton translation layers and all of that may not work well with mods, right? Some of them do, but it's not as seamless as what the world we know today. So maybe that's what will keep Windows more relevant in the PC hardcore space, right? But yes, Valve is working very, very, very diligently, seemingly, to resolve a lot of has potentially been issues in the past, stopping their dominance, and it's looking like
Right.
they're going to be far more successful.
And here's the thing, right? A lot of
And
people.
real quick, the Great Septic Sauce has gifted
Shout out
5
to
memberships.
Gaz.
Shout out to
Thank
you,
you,
good
good
sir.
sir.
Appreciate you, brother.
So the other thing, the other piece of it is, some people will say you're not going to get console people to walk away from their libraries, but like,
Yeah.
just speaking in this experience, and shout out to Doc Dark because he's experienced the same thing, and shout out to John Wolf, right? Yeah, I have a huge Xbox library, maybe over 500 games, right?
Yeah.
But in these 8 months that I've been in this PC space, I'm up to 120 games on Steam. And I haven't played most of those 120 games, but what happens is, like, I just watched Gladiator, right? And I watched that because I took the fam to see Gladiator 2 on Thanksgiving. And I'm like, you know what? This reminds me of Rise.
Yeah, sounds
and that's a game in my Xbox library that I walked away from. But guess what? I can go pick that up for $3, right? If there's an old game in your library that you're worried about walking away from, 9 times out of 10, if it's that old, you can pick it up, right? And so I don't think the walking away from the library is as big of a hurdle as some people make it out to be. Like, if you're gonna buy your whole library on day one, yes. But if you go back to your old library as needed, you're gonna be paying pennies to replace a game that you had in a different ecosystem. And so, I don't think of this as a way to get PC gamers in the living room. It'll be an option for them. But I do think of it as a gateway drug to the console diehards that are tired of having to wait to see whether you get a pro variant or whether the game will support 60 FPS or waiting or choosing a platform and then just having to see what game is going to come when. Right? I think it's a compelling offering.
What you're doing right now is you are poo-pooing all the things that make a console a console. That's what you're doing right there, and you're doing it.
Well, the bad parts,
right?
The concessions that you make
in order for it to be a console, right? Yes,
right.
But in order to take that
away,
I think
Valve have found the right balance with Steam OS.
Sure. Now the question will be, what will it look like in your living room, right? Because not everybody will do what you did, right? Even if there's an official ISO and not Bazite, not everybody will go and roll an official and put it on a mini PC or put it. Some people may put it on their own desktops or whatever. That's fine. But where the rubber will really meet the road, as far as this being a console, like in a large C competitor's way, will be how this looks at when you walk into a Best Buy, right? Who has one? Is this an ROG Nook device that has this pre-installed, or
okay, right? So that's the thing.
Yeah.
In the same way that the Steam Deck spearheaded and created a broader market, which was primarily just kind of run by the Chinese manufacturers or whatever. Again, the Ioneos and the others of the world. I think the Steam Deck made a viable market for the other PC manufacturers to jump in the space. And I think the Steam box will do the same, but this time you won't have to run Windows on these other boxes that people make. So the idea that people will, and again, I hear a lot of people talking about cost, but there are people that are paying $700 for a PS5 Pro because they want more. So if you could offer
oink,
someone,
oink, ladies and gentlemen, oink oink.
If you could offer someone,
for those who know,
a console sort of user experience and allow them to get as much hardware as they could afford, I think that speaks to a certain audience. And once you've swam in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, that is the Steam ecosystem, it is very hard to go back, because you realize all the things you've sacrificed for that user experience.
I think you should. I consider this man one of your acolytes. I think you should read his super chat.
Okay, Sycamore with the $9.99 super chat says, Valve laying the pipe down, entering the living room space is going to massively grow the industry. The big two is stale and innovating in this space. Now, here's the thing. This is another thing that I want to point out. What I think Sycamore. This has the potential to do, because right now someone will say you're either a PC gamer or you're a console gamer, right? And I think a device like a Steam box and that OS from other people making it, that just allows people to get whatever hardware they want. And yes, the Valve version will be subsidized, so it'll be $500-$600, whatever the consoles cost. But you will be able to buy $1,000, $2,000 Asus device that has like 40. Well, it'll probably be AMD, but you know what I'm saying. So the point that I'm getting at is, I think in that world, once you've upgraded and seen like firsthand what it could be, that is going to change a lot of things for people. Right?
Hold on real quick though. Captain Chats brings up a very, very good point that we've also been talking about, adding to the background as well, which is a wrinkle in this utopia that we're talking about, but it's a viable, very, very, very serious wrinkle. Captain Chats with a 10-pound super chat. Thank you so much. He says, how are Steam going to combat the anti-cheat games? I love COD, but SteamOS doesn't support those types of games. This needs addressing and are a big part of this being successful. He is absolutely correct. Well, hold on a moment. I'll let you address it. But it should be noted, we usually yada all this stuff to say, look, where there's money, there's a will, and it'll happen. And that is also true here. But the reason why that is a huge wrinkle is that SteamOS is based on Linux, right? And Linux gives everyone direct kernel access. So no matter what you do, you could be a multi-trillion-dollar company that creates your locked in stone, magical, amazeballs, anti-cheat software, right? Anyone can go into the kernel and try to mess with it and potentially fix it or find a workaround. That is Linux. It's open source nature, right? So even all the money in the world does not change those fundamentals on the ground. So it's a very big hurdle they need to climb. Go ahead, Everborn. You had a thought.
So one thing is, I fully acknowledge that if you're going to enter the living room, for some customers, not having, ease of access or access at all,
not having the black hole games, which all have this anti-cheat
that
stuff,
can be a non-starter for many, many people. However, there is nothing technically stopping these anti-cheat softwares from supporting Linux. Now, they don't like it because it's open source and sure. But what we do know is that as per Microsoft's agreement with the CMA, at a certain point, just like they have to make something that supports the Switch or Nintendo's console, they also have to make COD compatible on Linux. They've agreed to this. They said it will take time, but Microsoft will do this. Now, will Epic do this? Right? Will other people that utilize these softwares do that? I don't know, but that will be incumbent upon how successful Valve can be in getting this OS onto more devices, because people like money, and they will figure it out if they feel like there's a market on Linux. Because that market is so small, honestly, it is not high on their priority.
They do need to figure it out, Like the way that you do it historically can't be the way forward because it's not possible to lock it down forever, right? Like just so people have a fundamental understanding of what we're describing here, if you're trying to offer services, because these anti-cheat softwares isn't meant for you and me, right? It affects you and me, but it is the software that is built and sold to studios to use it to secure their code, right? So your Denuvo and your Ricochet in the case of Call of Duty, right? That is not created by them. That is licensed by them because the company that makes that software promises security for your software, for your code, right?
Sure,
in
but we
Linux,
also. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say in Linux that makes it a very impossible proposition to promise if you are the maker of Ricochet, because in its current iteration and in how it is implemented, it's whack-a-mole. You create it, they break it, you create another one, they break it, you create another one, because they have access to every place you have access to. Like every place you have access to. Whereas at least in Windows, some have kernel access, some hack their way in, but by and large, Windows is since it's a lockdown ecosystem, from that perspective, they don't, it's not very easy to undo that kind of security work. Whereas in Linux, exactly how it is built today, because that's part of Linux, it is very much everyone shares those lanes of the highway, even the secure lanes, right?
No,
so to solve this problem, you'd have to find a new innovative solution that gets you to the same place.
Sure. I also don't subscribe to the idea that the perfect is the enemy of the good, so to speak. Meaning,
sure,
I hear a lot of people saying, well, if it's not going to have this launcher and that launcher, it's not going to work. And to that, I would say, how many goddamn launchers do you have on PlayStation or on Xbox? Right? Like they have what they have.
But you know what? The pushback to that, though, thinking out loud, is that you're like the question to PlayStation or Xbox. Those are consumers that are used to a closed ecosystem, right? Whereas if Valve and Steam is involved, that consumer base is like very much DIY, right? And they expect to be able to, just like even on your Steam Deck, they expect to be able to put in hero launchers and all these others to be able to get Epic running and to be able to get others running, right?
That is sure. However, but that is if you look at this as a play to bring PC gamers into the living room, and I don't think PC gamers want to be in the living room. If this is a play for console gamers, they're only used to having one store and one launcher on the box that they have on the TV.
Sure. That is a good point. You're right. Yep.
So, and again, Call of Duty has to support this. Like they've already agreed to this contractually.
Yeah,
they have to do this as a part of their behavioral remedy. So Call of Duty won't be an issue forever, but
I mean, imagine if they thread the Call of Duty needle and say, because of technical issues, the way we get it running on Linux is we stream it. What if they do that?
I don't think they're going to do that. I think because they said they have to support those things natively. They're going to do it.
Okay.
So
Lucius in the chat says if you don't have Fortnite, it's a non-starter. So
for some gamers, that's not for everyone. I understand how huge Fortnite is, but that is not the case for everyone. And again, I just think if you have a device that opens people's eyes up to a hardware agnostic ecosystem, the usual players will not be able to get away with the things that they've been getting away with. Right?
Yeah.
So that is no, COD is on Steam, but COD is not natively playable on Linux, and they promise to support other operating systems, and Linux was specifically called out. And once COD natively supports Linux, then it'll be able to run on a Steam device or whatever.
Floodzilla, $5 super chat. He says EAC and BattlEye both have Linux support, which these are specifically Linux variants of anti-cheat software, but it's the devs that remove multiplayer support via Proton. like Roblox, Fortnite, and most recently Space Marine 2
Yeah, I
multiplayer.
was looking at that because Space Marine 2 you could play on the Steam Deck, but not the multiplayer or something like that.
Exactly, right? So what's happening is, like as I said, it's a whack-a-mole situation. They build it, someone breaks it, then they build it, and someone breaks it, then they build. So the question becomes, how often and how much money and how much effort do you want to put into continuously playing whack-a-mole? Because in Linux, that's all it is, right?
I just this is the thing, right? And this is just to the pushback on Lucius and some other people in the chat. Shout out to OBM. But like I just think we're getting into this thing where it has to solve all problems or it will fail. And I don't think that is the case, because a lot of people don't play those games to the tunes of millions.
So to stand with Lucius, on this one, true. A lot of people don't play those games. You're absolutely right. Right. You and I are keen. Are people
by
in
this
that,
logic,
right?
no one would have bought.
I get it, but we are a minority in that, right? We are a minority in that. Not even on the games that not even just to speak to the games that we don't play, but more to the fact that, like, every game developer, every game publisher, every ecosystem right now, doesn't matter which one you're talking about, counts their wins based on live service games, counts their wins based on monthly active users. And in that world, not having the capability of having a monthly active user capable game, a la live service game, on your platform is pretty damn detrimental. Every single one of them is counting their successes based on MAUs and those service games, right? Every single one is. It just is, right? So, and I'm okay living in the world where I'm a minority in it. I'm fine with it. I have dissenting opinions on in many aspects, and I'm fine with that. But we do need to recognize that while we don't play Fortnite is it. While we don't play Call of Duty,
but Fortnite is not all of gaming, and this is what I feel like. The
mistake you're making here, where I think I see where Lucius and the rest of them are coming from, is it's not just Fortnite. It's Fortnite. It's Apex. It's there are a myriad of games that control the gaming sphere from a monthly active user perspective, right? It's multiple games that are all themselves have that component that's critical, and none of them will work in this exact paradigm currently via Proton, right? So it's not just COD, it's not just Fortnite, it's not just Apex, it's not just Valorant, it's not, you know what I mean? We can keep going. There are many of them, and none of them will work with this thing currently. So when you put the live service genre as a whole together, that is pretty substantial. It's not one game. It's the fact that whole genre can't be represented on this box today, right? It is a valid, accurate problem, a hurdle that needs to be solved, because not only is it just a genre, it is the genre du jour that all of these money makers are putting all their stock in today to continue making the money. So if your hardware doesn't support it from a software perspective, that's pretty detrimental, right? I think that's where they're coming from with it. It's not just one game. It's the amalgamation of all of those games not being able to be played on these types of hardware.
So I would only argue that there are many games that the Switch cannot play, right? But what it does offer in terms of their first party offerings make it still a compelling device that people will buy, despite not being able to play Call of Duty and some of I know it has Fortnite.
Absolutely right.
But there are others
you're absolutely right.
that it doesn't have. Right.
Yeah,
and so what I am saying,
because the Switch has a different audience that it's pointing to. So I guess what you're saying is this device would find an audience, a Venn diagram of an audience that does like what the device offers, but they can take or leave multiplayer.
Right. And I don't like, it might not be it's going to sell 100 million. I don't think that that's what their goal is. Right. But I do think it is a compelling, like, there are still millions of people that are the graybeards and some of the newer people that like the Steam Deck is attractive to. they can section out, I think, a more than niche piece of the living room market for the people that say this is a box that will play all the non-Fortnite games, right?
Okay.
And it will eventually play. Probably by the time this comes out, it probably will be able to play COD natively. And so, and again, the whole point is opening people's minds to a hardware agnostic
the possibilities
ecosystem that doesn't have the same sort of idiosyncrasies that you have to deal with on the Xbox side, right? Because they have to deal with the fact that they have a console and those games are in fact different and live in a different store with different user experience than the PC variants, and they don't all translate. You buy some and some are play anywhere and some are not, and one by one they will add shared saves to other things. These are just things that you don't think about.
Paris Lily jumps in the chat and says, late to the party, but SteamOS is what Xbox is going to do well. Do as well.
Right. Yes. But so my question to Paris on that, and I 100% agree with that. I just think that like, will we be in a situation where Valve gets there first and they have a more smooth experience to that because Xbox has to manage the fact that they have console binaries and a PC store, and those things are not the same. Right. And while Paris wants to come on, give him the link. I want to hear what he has to say.
I get you.
But while Xbox is smoothing that experience out, if Valve is right there where you buy one thing one time and it just works across the thing, you don't have to think about it, and 90% of games come there, I worry that
you think by the time Microsoft gets to the starting gate, Valve would have already taken a couple laps,
and then the conversation will be, look how smooth the experience is in Valve's situation is versus how smooth it is in Xbox's. And for the same reason that I find myself buying all this stuff on Steam instead of Xbox, I wonder if that will happen with other people.
And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, he's here to retort.
And I don't want to hear nothing about Sonic, Paris. This is about Steam and Xbox.
Look. If people mad at me about Indiana Jones, I got nothing to say about Sonic.
All right, good.
And by the way, your take on Indiana Jones is wrong. At least my take so far. I disagree with you, but continue.
Can I say one thing on that? And I definitely want to jump into this.
Sure.
I think people see a number and they're not actually listening to what was said.
So real quick, I'm not taking it at the number. The reason why I disagree with you, I understand what you guys were talking about. I watched the episode. It was a great episode, as you guys usually do. I watched what was said, and it feels to me like it's said by people who have been influenced by their predecessors. It feels to me by people who live in a post Tomb Raider and Uncharted world that has defined terms, and because this game doesn't reach those terms, it's not good enough, or that's why there's criticism. And this game, I think, rather correctly redefines its own terms and says, hey, if I'm an archaeologist, I'm not a murder machine, right? If I'm an archaeologist, maybe I spend more time with the fisticuffs and I hide and I do other things. It's doing different things, and I appreciate it for that, right? And I feel some people are giving it critique for that.
I hear you, and I don't want to derail this down into that path, so I will just keep it going. I think you're missing. That's not correct, at least for me. I can't speak for Greg. That's not correct for me. I like Indiana Jones. It's a fun game. I think if people go back and see what I was saying, I love the story. I love the performance. I love what this is, arguably the third best Indiana Jones story we've ever had, behind Raiders and Last Crusade. That ain't an issue at all. I'm talking specifically about mechanics of the gameplay.
Talking about Paris, I like Shia LaBeouf jumping into a refrigerator to save himself from a nuclear missile.
Awful. But If I really break it down to the core, it's more about the AI. I expected more out of it. And I felt like I wasn't getting the challenge I expected out of it. But again, I don't want to derail into that. Just
no, and
it is what it is.
There'll be more time for that conversation when Mr. Everborn Saga gets a chance to play it as well. Hopefully we'll have you back. We'll talk more about it in depth. But what are your thoughts about
I can't have any opinion on Indiana evolution? Jones until next week when I've tried
There you go.
Yeah, but going on to this with the Steam OS thing, obviously I put out my own little tweet, I think yesterday or something, essentially saying this is where Xbox is headed. Do I 100% think they're going to do exactly what Steam is doing? Because Steam is truly third party and they're able to quote unquote license out their OS. They're the hardware manufacturers and have that same experience on their hardware. But it's pretty clear the next generation of Xbox is going to be more of a hybrid approach, where I do think you're going to see third-party hardware manufacturers have a version of a Windows OS that is more gamified to be able to, yes, you can run Xbox stuff on it, but then you can flip it into a desktop mode. And if you want to put Steam on it, you can. You want to put the Epic Store on it, you can. I think that's where they're headed with it, which is somewhat similar to what we're seeing right now with Steam. So but the advantage that Xbox is going to have, and this is me reading the tea leaves of what their leadership has said over the past 12 months, it seems like you're going to be able to access the back catalog of Xbox games, from the past, from the Xbox One era, from the 360 era as well. That's where I think
hypervisor talk comes in. But yes, continue. Yeah. Yes, that's important. That part's important.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. We lost you. Oh, there you go.
No, I'm still here.
Okay, great.
So
expound more as to what you think that will look like, right? How will that mechanically look like? How will folks access their library?
My guess on this is I think it will be a combination of native on whatever the hardware platform is and cloud. That's why you're seeing that program roll out, where games that you own digitally, you're able to cloud stream them. So I think that's part of it. I think, again, I tweeted this really quick, but I think in concept, very similar to the way the Steam Deck works today, you boot into the Xbox experience, right? But there is an option to flip it over to quote unquote Windows mode, where now you're on the desktop and you can do whatever you want. Now, how that works as far as controls and security things are in place remains to be seen, because obviously they're going to want to protect that and not have people hacking into Xbox. But I kind of think that's the vision of where it's going. And that's where handheld and Xbox handheld makes sense. But then you would obviously have a quote unquote under your television console experience too. Microsoft probably provides some hardware as a template similar to what the Steam Deck is. But I do think third party is going to get involved as well.
So, and all of that's great. And you already know, and anybody listening to this show knows that this is what Kay and I have been calling for years. This is not even a concern, and because I think that this is a good thing. Like if Valve does this, if Valve does this and they have their ducks in a row, and Microsoft or Xbox takes too long to get their ducks in a row, I just don't want it to be a situation where they just come off as an also ran and their experience is not as good in terms of connecting all the dots together, right? And I think that Xbox and Microsoft should be paying attention to this, and I'm not saying they're not taking it seriously, obviously they are, but they should really keep their eye on this to know we got to be at least this good and this cohesive.
And I agree, but I think that's also why you saw Phil say it the way that he did. I think it was Bloomberg or whatever, a week or so ago, where it's like it's years away. Because I think, sure, there's proof of concept, there's probably tests and things that they're doing even right now. But to your point, if you're going to do this, you got to make sure you do it right.
Yeah, you can't half-ass it, right?
Yeah.
And again, I know, because we talk about this stuff, we nerd out about this stuff, and because we are so ear to the streets, it seems to us like they're moving at a snail's pace when we see the updates to the game bar, and we see the things like Indiana Jones being able to save on Steam and things like that. So to us, because you know we nerd out about this stuff, it feels like they're moving super slow. But I think as long as they've got something that is available for people by the time SteamOS if it becomes a thing, they'll be okay. But the other thing is, you brought up a good point about playing your old games. Now, because I've been using the ROG Ally X and the Steam Deck or another thing, I have to start to ask myself now, right? What is it that Xbox can do that says that their handheld is going to be better than what I can get elsewhere, right? Because
that's what I think it is. Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Legacy.
Right.
Legacy games.
So if it can play my console library of games, that would set it apart from everybody else, and that would make it compelling for me. But if you're in that handheld space already, now maybe you don't have a handheld and you just like Xbox, so they make a handheld and you buy it. Sure, that'll be the Mr. Boomsticks of the world, right? But for those of us that are already playing in that world, to me, that legacy to be able to play my console games natively on this handheld is really the only thing that is going to move me to say I should get the Xbox handheld instead of whatever other one, because the other one is still going to play my Xbox games, right?
Exactly.
So this has to
finish. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. I'm agreeing with you. Like the console legacy of games, that to me is what they can bring to this space that makes me say I should also, or just get this as my main handheld.
Yeah, the way I've thought of this, I think you and I are aligned in that. And to add on to it, I think of it today, right? The Steam Deck can obviously play all the Steam games on it. You can load up the Epic Store. You can do all these customizable things. But what is the thing that the Steam Deck cannot do? Can't play Game Pass native on it right now, right? You'd have to literally load up Windows. So right now, there's not a Linux variant of Game Pass that you're able to put on the Steam Deck. ROG Ally and like the Lenovo and the MSI Claw and all that, they can do everything that the Steam Deck does. Plus, you can play Game Pass on there as well, right? So when you think of it that way, what can Microsoft do to differentiate itself from all its third-party competitors / variants? You provided hardware that not only can you play all your Steam games on it, your Epic Store games on it, you can also play all your Xbox games on it. I can give you Game Pass, and I can give you back access to your legacy catalog of games as well. And that would be the thing that would make me go, well, I'm gonna get the Xbox one, because now it's a jack of all trades. It can do everything in a handheld space that the Steam Deck can't do, and the ROG Ally and the other ones can't do either.
Right. Now, the other thing, though, that we should know is that whatever Microsoft and Xbox are going to do on the PC side in terms of user experience, I think all the handhelds will benefit from that. Meaning, my ROG Ally will get that easy user experience, but what I don't think my ROG Ally will allow me to do is play my Xbox console games. And if they can have a UI that is on par with what you get with the Steam OS or Steam Big Picture mode, but for Xbox, and I can sideload my Steam games or whatever, but I can play my console games. That's what I think. That's the thing that I think they have to do. I don't know how they pull it off, but that to me is the only thing that makes me buy that Xbox handheld.
Right. And I agree. And I think That's the thing that they have to figure out and they have to nail, because at that point, why am I buying it? I might as well just get a Steam Deck or one of the other ones, because it's no different. So you have to be doing something that the other ones simply cannot do. And if they're giving me access to my legacy titles, and another thing, because I went to a Surface event earlier this year and they demoed, and I think some of this stuff is already out, but they're continuing to iterate on that Xbox app for the mobile / handheld experience for everything that you're saying. They gotta nail that to entice these other to make it more ease of use on these other third-party handhelds.
They gotta nail it, but they also gotta hurry the F up, Paris. I'm tired of waiting. But now let me ask you a question though. Back to Steam, because there's been a lot of contention in the chat, and we've been talking about this in Discord and stuff. What if Valve does make a box that you can play under your TV? It's basically a Steam Deck, but under your TV, more powerful. And obviously other people will make them because they'll license the OS. But Valve makes a box. They enter the living room. Do you think this will have a significant impact on the console industry and market? Or is it too much of a hurdle for them to climb?
I think that's too much of a hurdle. I think even if they've obviously already attempted this, and I understand the tech has evolved way beyond what the original, the Steam box was, a few years back. But I don't think if you had Asus had a Steam OS powered box that you could connect to your TV, that it is going to, become a true competitor to anything that PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo is doing today. I personally don't think so, because I just think the PC audience is different in that way. Whereas
I agree with that. Yep.
You know what I mean? So no, hey, it'd be nice to have. Trust me, I'd take advantage of it, but I don't think it would make a huge dent in the console market.
So I heard similar when I was late, because I was talking to Randall Thor. He said the same thing. Mm-hmm. This is what Kay says. Rand. This is what you say. A lot of people say this, where Valve does that, and the people that buy Steam Decks are Steam customers primarily. So if Valve does that, do PC gamers even want to be in the living room? Because they just don't like that, right? So they're not really going to bring many PC gamers over to make a dent. But I view this as them going into the living room, and I'm not going to repeat the whole thing I said, but just because you're here, I believe them entering the living room is not about bringing Steam PC gamers to the living room. It is about opening console gamers' eyes to a world of being hardware agnostic, because you'll start
and I think some will, I just don't think the vast majority will. Like I just look at it, and you're kind of already saying this, I just look at it as people that play games in their living room aren't necessarily want to go through any of the fuss that it takes with PC gaming. And I don't think Steam OS at its core is still going to be a PC centric system. I think they want the ease of use of, I press one button and the games are there and I just play them.
Yep, absolutely.
Right. And that's what PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo provide today.
And Everborn, remember I was telling you, like, those concessions that you say are detrimental to the PC experience, to the console experience. I was saying that's what's part and parcel of making it a console, right? If you remove those things, right, and you make the ease of access still available, but still give people options, even though people have the ease of access that the consoles provide, just those options become anti-console, and the people who want that, I plug in my game, I press play and I'm playing, see those options, it will push them away. That's a big reason why they don't play on PC right now. So it's a very interesting place we find ourselves. I suspect that most likely the best solution will be kind of what GeForce Now employs. And for those who aren't aware, in the GeForce Now experience, if you have the current setup and everything's good to go, you go in, you hit play, you're playing the game, and it's spec'd exactly the way you want it to spec on that hardware. No need to tweak, no need to do anything. If you are one who wants to do that tweaking, you, before the game starts, you go into the
tweaking and twerking
menu.
Sir. Tweaking and twerking.
Stop that.
You got to get it right.
Before you play the game, you go into the menus and you enable the ability to make those changes. before you play your game, right? So like there's a sub menu before the game even starts that then enables the ability to modify fog and all these other things. But if you don't do that, the default speed just sets it all up for you and just moves on. So it's basically a console like experience, right? So that middle ground might be how they fix this, but we shall see.
Yeah, I what I hope that this does, I don't know how much, I don't know if I'm right, but or if this will play out. But what I hope this does is this kickstarts us into the hardware agnostic future, where you're not a console gamer, you're not a PC gamer, you're just a gamer, and you can do that in your living room or at your desk or on your handheld.
And you think Microsoft's overture with everything's an Xbox was not the move? It was Valve's like adding Steam to everything.
I just think this is
a
more holistic thing, because again, and I don't want to rehash that, but I do think everything be like Steam OS and everything being Steam is something that they've already got figured out, and there are things that Microsoft and Xbox has to there are things they have to get a cohesive user experience, right? With whatever they're doing on the front end. They have to figure out licensing between PC and console. They have to figure out all that stuff.
A lot more hurdles.
Stuff is just already figured out in the way that Steam has designed itself from the beginning. So and again, people are used to Xbox being in a certain way, so Xbox has to do a lot more explaining to get people there. And what was otherwise a great ad left some people, not me, angry and confused, just because of they traditionally expect Xbox to be one thing. People don't have that expectation for Steam.
Here's what I'll say to everything that you're saying. It is pretty clear their leadership, and I will just say Phil Spencer, wants this to happen. If you pay attention to what he's been saying over the past 12 months, especially during GDC, pretty clear this is what he wants, right? To everyone's point in the chat and what you're saying, can they get there? Obviously TBD. This is why it's probably still years out. I'll say this too, and I know everybody's not a fan of this, probably me saying this in chat. Xbox is clearly growing beyond the console at this point. The console is not their number one focus anymore. Is it a key pillar of their strategy? Yes. But it's not the focus. That's why you see the marketing.
Here comes the chat with the digital tomatoes at you, sir.
I know. Look, after Indy, I might as well just embrace the villain arc.
And Paris, what I've been saying this whole time is that is all well and good. I don't believe they should be doing that. I don't believe they should put the cart before the horse, meaning get your act together and on the other endpoints before you.
No. Hear me out. Let me get this out. I want to be crystal clear. I'm in agreement on that stuff. I think there's still a lot of challenges and hurdles before you get to that future, but it is pretty clear they're laying the building blocks for that now. It remains. Look, I understand a lot of the main thing I see a lot is, well, they don't value the console number. Why am I buying an Xbox anymore? I understand all of that, but they obviously see a vision that is going beyond the short term, and they're trying to build up that infrastructure, the services and everything that goes along with that now to get to whatever their ultimate vision is going to be. There's clearly been rumors and rumblings about people in leadership that they're pushing for this. It's what they're doing. Whether we like it or not, it's what they're doing. I think one advantage they have right now is they got 30 plus studios. And regardless of whatever I might think about a particular game or not, they got a bunch of games coming down the pipeline. Now, how they deliver those games and where, we'll see. Phil said the no red lines, all that stuff. But it's clear they're going to provide you hardware, but they're also going to put their games on other platforms as well. Yeah. And it's up to you how you want to interact with them and play them. You can buy them $70 a pop. You can subscribe to Game Pass, but they're saying, we'll get you a console, but we're going to put them on PC. We're going to put some of them on PlayStation. We're going to put some of them on Switch too. You're going to be able to cloud stream them. Some of them are going to be on mobile as well. We're trying to get everybody. And is that the right strategy? We'll see.
Time will tell. That's right.
But the thing is, because again, everybody fights change. Nobody wants things to change. We've been used to a certain model for 40 years. They're now going, well, we're breaking that mold. Again, go back to what Phil said when I talked to him last year. They lost the last digital generation. They're clearly not going to win this one from a hardware standpoint either. So they've obviously invested a lot of money, Microsoft, into their gaming division. So they're not going away. Because people think, oh, Xbox is going away. No, they're not. But they're changing. What that ultimately evolves into, we'll see. But it's pretty clear it's not going to be the traditional model anymore. The next generation of Xbox is going to look vastly different than this one from a hardware standpoint, for sure.
So we're going to move forward and we're going to talk about our predictions for the Game Awards, which I suspect Mr. Lilly may not want to participate in for obvious reasons. But
I'm out.
Do that.
Yeah, we're listing all the categories. Most categories.
Before we do that, though, I have a story that I think Mr. Lilly would be like. I'm happy you're here because I want to see your reaction. I want to get your take on this weird story. Even Everborn doesn't know I'm bringing this up. I told him I'd drop a surprise story in the mix today, and that's this one coming up. But before that, let me catch up. No. It's very gaming centric. It's interesting. I just want to hear what you guys think. Before that, there's a few super chats that I just want to catch up on before we get too far ahead of ourselves. But Pixelbit G, $2 super chat. He asked the question: can Steam Deck currently play GeForce Now? I think it can via browser. Yeah, and there are shortcuts that people have built.
Download that will just make
that's right
one button.
Yeah, there are shortcuts that people have built that you press the button and it just kind of gets you in, just like you can do with Game Pass via cloud, right? You can still do that via GeForce Now as well. So
it's way less cumbersome than how you get Game Pass on there. But yes. And then we got Soup with a $10 super chat. They say, I'm trying to use xCloud specifically on Samsung TV. Which OS is Samsung TV? Because the only option I see are LG, Apple, Google, and Microsoft. How do I use it on Samsung TV? To answer that question, it is Android. They have an Android backend. So Google. So it doesn't look like it's Google, but if you go to their app store, you will most likely find a gaming hub, and it's using the APKs, the Android APKs, as their background. It's powered by them in order to do that. So when you download it to your TV, you're basically kind of downloading a disguised version of Tizen. No, it's not powered by Tizen. Tizen is that Tizen OS. It is powered by Tizen. Some of them are, depending on your TV, right? But if it's the TV that what I think we're talking about, the one that is Game Pass compatible and it has a game hub and you can play from multiple places, they used the Android the Android store to facilitate those apps and to keep them up and running. They do have some Tizen devices, but to leverage the app store, they've been using Android. So that is an Android thing. I suggest you look into Google, but you shouldn't even have to know which OS to use. Basically, just go to their app store on the TV and just seek out not xCloud but Microsoft Gaming or Game Pass, and you'll most likely find Xbox Cloud Gaming. But we get it. Do we have any more?
Yeah, we do. We have, what is this? Prolly Fi. Well, okay, I'm not gonna say it the way I was gonna say it, but $2 super chat. Thank you. He says Blizzard better be worried. Prolific. Yeah, I see it now. I was gonna say it a different way, which would have been not so PG-13. Prolific, $2 super chat, says a Blizzard better be worried. PoE2 is a beast. I don't know much that worries Blizzard.
But I heard the same thing about COD and X Defiant. So let's
I don't know much worries Blizzard, these days. The killers, the this killer, that killer tends to never be what it's billed to be in the first place, And then finally, BT Maverick 707, $5 super chat. He says, apologies, I'm late. I'm a little behind in the chat, but is there going to be a oversaturation level with all these OEM top boxes and PC handhelds to market?
Yes.
I mean, I eventually, but I don't see that today. You think it's coming closer, Paris?
Well, what I think again, let's just not to rehash everything we talked about, but just all right. Steam OS does their thing. Let's say Xbox does their thing. You're going to see third-party hardware manufacturers try to compete in the space. And then it's going to come down to quality and price on who rises to the top. So you're going to probably see a bunch jump in right away. And then you're going to see only a few survive that, because it's going to come to price and the quality. People are going to decide the hardware that they gravitate to and if it's affordable.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with your take on that. The only thing I would say is all that is dependent upon how Steam decides to release their software, right? Microsoft releases their software. They have certain license requirements, 7 inches or smaller. You get it for a certain version of quote unquote free. 8 inches or bigger. There's certain license agreements that you have to adhere to, things like that. Provided that that Valve, and I would think Valve would do it this way because they're back-ending a Linux distro that is open source. Provided that they open source it completely and say, hey, anybody can have access to it. Oh boy, that'll make the environment pretty interesting, even for smaller. I imagine overnight your Aya Neos and your 1X players and all those other devices that have been kind of keeping the industry alive in a niche kind of way will all leverage that because it'll make their costs less as far as Windows licensing. So it should be an interesting time to see. Soil Tech, member for 6 months. He says, hit that like button on your way in or out. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your continued support. And finally, the great Gaming Forte with a final super chat. He says, just showing some love, gentlemen. Plus, I sold out of most of my Sonic games. So he would know being a manager.
I'm glad you pointed that out with Paris here, and I hope Slow Mo's listening.
Absolutely. But shout out to all the great, wonderful people that continue to show us support. Before Paris gets out of here, because I know he doesn't want to talk directly about those reviews, those winnings, I want to talk about this story that came to my feed that I thought was super interesting. Elon Musk brought about the concept of an AI-driven game studio, and people were just like, "Pshaw! What is all this ridiculous madness?" Elon obviously comes with heated language and all of that. And then there was a story that came to mind.
Now, Paris, be careful what you say about Elon. He might rat you out.
Stop that. Google has this initiative called Genie 2, which is a large-scale foundation world model. It's an AI model. And what it's doing is literally using AI to build games. So they have some demos. They have some visual elements. I want to show them to you. And then I want to get your thoughts on this, because yes, our first take was to poo-poo, how is this even going to be possible? But what you're watching, and if I can maximize and show it well enough, what you're watching is these are games that are fully built, right? Not using any of the gaming tools that you know of and you can think of today. These are all prompted games, and then beyond generating them, they use keyboard mouse parlance, and you see it in the corner there, space bar, up, down, left, right, QWERTY keyboard commands to basically control the characters, right? Clearly, from the visuals that you're seeing right now, they are not ready for prime time. They're not, right? Like it's blurry, it's not quite ready yet and all that. But this thing did lead me down a rabbit hole. I can see a world where, this thing gets good enough for consumption and our gaming needs and our gaming development processes change wildly. Mr. Lilly, sir, what do you think of this? I don't know if this is the first time you're coming across this. Has this come across your radar before?
It has.
How far advancements of AI generating games? What do you think?
I'll even add to this. When I was at Summer Game Fest, I went behind closed doors with Xbox, and they were showing me some of their initiatives on this as well. Like you said, this is extremely early days. You can see the future promise of this. I'm talking a decade out. right?
Yep.
These are extremely early days of this. Like I got to see some world building, how AI was being used to make NPCs more dynamic in some of their dialogue.
I mean, look at that sports car right here.
That. Yeah.
Look at that. Like that is very close. Like we're not there yet, but very insanely close. You know?
Yeah, we're close. But here's what I'll caveat this by saying. This is all well and good, but real people are going to be impacted by this. And
of course,
even when I was talking with Xbox about this, that was the first thing I was bringing up. I was bringing up the impact that you're going to have on development teams and just the security impacts. There's a lot of variables still in this. So look, Elon can talk about this all he wants. We know Elon likes to project and promise things that are a long ways away. So sure, he can talk about it now, but we'll be in the 2030s.
We are in the presence. We are in the presence of a Cybertruck owner, so you know some people are taking his words more critically likely than others. I'm just saying.
On the panel right now is an Elon customer.
Yes,
everybody in here is driving Teslas. Don't look at me just because I happened to get one of the newer ones.
I'll say this: version 13 of FSD is pretty darn good. Like scary good.
You know, I haven't gotten the update yet. Unfortunately,
I've been waiting. Scary good.
This morning I got the Apple Watch update.
Yeah, but you can't use it yet. I got it too.
Yeah, you have to get the holiday update on the car. You might have it. I
actually got both of them. I got the phone update, and then this morning I got the actual Apple Watch update on the car. So I actually haven't tried it yet, but I got the update on the car.
Yes, I haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah,
you gotta be looking right now.
Yeah, but they roll it out like different VINs at different times. So here's the times. This is I take a different stance on AI because I do like the idea of tools that will help smaller teams create bigger projects, because I feel like as we move on to these sort of black hole games that we were talking about, that is all those major IPs are going to be sort of owned by a small group of very large companies. And those don't happen to be the kind of games I like to play. I'm more of a single player. I'm not even super high on narrative stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm gameplay, whatever, right? But like beginning, middle, and end. But what I'm saying is I think as the industry moves towards those black hole games from the traditional publishers, those that make it, shout out to the Guillemot family. You know, I think that it will be indie developers in the future that are making the kind of games that I still like to play. So if there are tools that allow them to make more ambitious projects, I'm all for it. What I do not subscribe to, though, is the thinking that AI is gonna make a game for you one day, because this may get better. I could see this getting better a decade from now. But just because you make a game that has interactive controls does not mean it is fun to play. A million games, I don't know how many, not a million, but thousands of games come out every year that are made by humans. And if they're not fun, people aren't going to play them. So just because you can make a game doesn't mean you can make something that connects with people. So wait, hold on. 1 second. I'll let you finish. So what I'm saying is, like, AI may be able to make a video sequence. AI may be able to write a cohesive paragraph. AI may be able to create music, but can it create Mozart? Can it create a Francis Ford Coppola movie? Well, maybe it could create Megalopolis, because that was whatever. But you know what I'm saying. But point is, just be like finding the fun and a human making something that connects with other humans. I don't know if it is there or the chasm that it needs to get there past that uncanny valley. So I don't know that it gets there.
I don't disagree with you. The only thing I wanted to interject is let's just be clear here. This is not necessarily, AI makes game, you play game. This what I saw this, why I see this in a more exciting light, and nothing not to take anything away from Paris and and his thoughts on that as far as it displacing people, because that is a serious factor in this equation, no doubt. But the reason why I thought this was exciting is I can see a world where an artist or a visionary that may not necessarily be a coder does not have to then defer his dream for 6 months to a year to learn the language in order to get things on the page,
to get people together,
right?
And have to go through the
as this matures, obviously people's hands will always be in the pot, and depending on how this thing is generated, I don't think you generate it the way you generate like movies and or pictures right now, which is prompting generate this, generate that. I think there are multiple layers of generation that are required to tell it what you want and how you want it to be, and oh, that green, that red barrel is should be explosive, like we saw some back here, right? That red barrel should be explosive. All of that should be defined by the prompting process. But I suspect that once this thing is closer to ready for prime time, an artist with a dream can prompt their way into closer, seeing their vision get closer to fruition than ever before, right? And so indies, to your description, those indies will use these tools to help facilitate those visions to get them closer to fruition far more than they can today. That's what's exciting to me about it. Not necessarily the robot themselves just generating a game that it thinks you will like. There will always be a human factor in the equation, I suspect.
Right. So we're in agreement on that point. But if we do get to the place, which I think is ultimately good, that sort of democratizes sort of creativity, because you don't need a whole team to do these things. You need someone with creative vision that can generate something, that can create something, and the technology is taking away from it, right? So if I'm a creative and I have an idea and I know what this thing should feel like and it should look like, and the AI can make that through my human prompts, I think there's a net positive there. However, like we've seen with anything that gets democratized, it's a double-edged sword, because if anyone can make a game, then anyone can make a game.
And then everyone tries to.
It is hard enough to get eyeballs on your game today as a creator. But if we're making 10,000 games a year now, with this stuff, maybe you have 10 million games a year.
Yep.
And how do you stand out from the crowd in that way? Yep. Right?
Yep. No, these are valid facts of the matter, right? And that's actually why I thought this would be a very interesting conversation to bring up. I find, at least even from my tech brain, I find it super interesting that, you know, in the way games are developed today, and if you watch some documentaries and you watch some videos and instructionals on how lighting is made, for example, right? How that is done in with these tools is a completely different language. It's a completely different paradigm, completely different mental exercise to accomplish the same task that people are doing painstakingly with math today, right? So, like, I do understand what you mean, what you guys, and look at the aspects of potential path and ray tracing. Like, there's just a lot there that needs to be logistically like thought through, and how that would be modified for human consumption, right? But
so just one thing, really quick, in the chat, and I think it speaks to what we're talking about, so I don't mean to cut you off, but
please. No,
Dorian Gray says anyone can make an album, life goes on. Do we feel like music has gotten better since it has been democratized?
No.
And that is the point.
But I literally stopped in 1998. I have not moved past that year.
This is exactly the point I was trying to make. To be fair, we are all gentlemen of a certain age, so that's just part and parcel of the experience, right? Like, whether AI, whether democratizing music or not is what's caused that, we would be where we are right now just because that's just the tradition of graybeards.
And here, you know what the truth of the matter is? The music that we've grown up on and we've loved, there are new artists that are creating amazing music right now.
Yes.
Right. So and even at the same clip that we are used to when we were younger. The problem is because there's so much garbage,
you don't see it.
You can't find it.
Yeah, you can't. Right? You miss the forest for the trees. Yep, absolutely.
Needs to be curated.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
So
yep.
I don't.
But to that point of exactly what you're saying, because look, this is inevitable. This will happen, probably 2030s. Yep. And to the music analogy you just used, that's going to be the thing with gaming. You're going to have more of a curated experience to find the quality content. For that very reason, because AI is going to make it easier to create games. So you're going to see way more stuff, and not all of it's going to be that great.
Right. This is why Apple Arcade was created, because anyone can make a mobile game, and so they created Apple Arcade to say, well, here's the quality stuff. Obviously, there's deals and stuff with it, but they were concerned with the App Store becoming like a cesspool. So they wanted to have curated lists and things like that.
But the benefit of this tool is still undeniable, though. Look at this, like what we're looking at on the screen right now. This is what their concept of rapid prototyping, right? Someone creates a prototype image, they feed it in, and it facilitates the movement and builds the world based on the prototype. And yes, again, if you're looking at it, the prototype is far more defined, far more detailed, far more fleshed out than what the AI generates, but it's close enough to where you're just like, we're there. Like it's very close, right? All the additional ramifications, yes, absolutely. It will be something that we need to contend with, including what it does to humans and humans' interaction and what piece of the puzzle they play while like being part of this development cycle, right? A lot of that will be removed out of their hands. I don't know how else to sugarcoat that. You can't sugarcoat it any other way. Like in my industry currently that I work in today, a lot of the work that I would do with a team is now leveraging AI, and all of that is working like very well. So it is very much a viable.
I still think we are a ways off, because people will like, and again, like Pixel and a lot of others in the chat are pointing out, like we're using procedural generation right now in UE5 to generate landscapes, right? And a game that has like weird animations versus one that is using full mocap, those are going to be two completely different beasts, and you'll be able to tell that right away. So how long, again, the issue, this is not an issue, but when we make projections about what the effect AI is going to have, this concept of the uncanny valley or the Turing test or all those things, to where you're good enough, but we know your AI, to where we can't tell the difference and it's indistinguishable. That chasm is huge. That is Grand Canyon level stuff to get to the point where it can do some of the things that you need to be indistinguishable from what people have expectations for today.
While I
don't know when it gets there,
I don't disagree with you on that. But if you fall down the rabbit hole that is what do you call it? AI generated videos, for example, like it's still not ready for prime time, but it has iterated so freaking quickly. It's nuts. There are people generating like X-Men renditions and stuff. And man, oh man, when they started it, say 6 months, 8 months ago compared to now, it is such an evolution.
Yes.
So if this is any indication, there is forward momentum in these waters. I look forward to seeing what this looks like if and when we start talking about this again the same time next year. But real quick, before we continue on the story and the next thing we're gonna discuss, we're gonna whip out the old spreadsheet and we're gonna start talking about the Game Awards and who we think some of these reviewers, these voters will vote for. Who are these people? Why do we give them all this credit, all this power anyway? Anyway, I'm just being ridiculous. Paris Lily, sir.
Can I address one thing in the chat? Because since I'm here, I want to be really quick. Someone is saying to me, I like Paris and his gaming coverage and respect his opinions. I'm not going to lie. I found the tweet he put out about indie pretty weak. It was like seeking validation for not liking the game as much as others did. It had nothing to do with validation. See, let me explain something to you about me. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to call it like I see it every time. I'm going to tell you what I think. There's no need for validation or any of that. My opinion is my opinion. What I said was, Troy Baker, fantastic performance. Story was fantastic. I found the gameplay lacking, 7 out of 10, but I'm happy other people like it. Not sure what was wrong with that. That's all. But
no, I don't see anything wrong with it with your talk with your thing either. I just disagree.
Yeah.
I think that
and that's fine.
The gameplay that they thought about, they didn't take the existing franchises or the existing variants into consideration. They kind of reframed. They took a fresh eye on what would an archaeologist be doing from a gameplay perspective, and I think it makes sense
correct. And I guess what the point I was bringing on it wasn't about like I kept saying at the top. If you were thinking this was Uncharted and Tomb Raider, you're immediately going to be disappointed because that's not what Machine Games was doing. I was fine with the first person approach. I was fine with the way they were trying to. I just thought they didn't execute it up to what I thought it was going to be. And that's why ultimately I said, hey, it's good, but do I think this is a Game of the Year contender? No, I personally do not. But that's fine. That's just one man's opinion. That's why I also said in that tweet, seek out other opinions. Don't just listen to me. I'm a dummy. I don't know nothing. It's just my opinion.
Oh, I thought you were going to say seek out help. But
no. I look forward to having you back on when the community at large gets to play it, when Everborn Saga's gotten his hands on it. And maybe we can talk more in depth about what you didn't like and all of that. Yeah.
I do. Last thing I will say, having not played the game, I am a strong believer in that good art should not be for everyone. And when you have a targeted vision, you know that it will be for some people and it will not be for everyone. And when you try to make something that is everything to everyone, you end up with watered down nothingness. And so Machine Games knew, it seems like from everything I've seen, they knew the game that they wanted to make, and it seems as though they were true to that vision. And it is okay if to some people it is a 7 and to other people it is a 9, right? Because it is going to connect with different people in different ways.
Oh yeah, yeah, totally. Like here's the irony. I'll just to put a bow on this before I get out of here. A year ago, I had people upset with me because I was highly praising Starfield. You know, like, why aren't you being more critical of it? So it's like either no matter if I love something or I don't love something as much as other people, it's just my opinion at the end of the day. That's what I mean. So it's like, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? And I would hope people would not want people reviewing games or giving their opinions on stuff to not just have a herd mentality and go with what the majority says. If you think a certain thing, that's what you say. Like, again, I'll give you an example. Greg and I had no idea what anyone thought of Indiana Jones until we recorded that episode. I had no idea what he thought. And that's why you even hear me say, wow, you were saying a lot of things that I was already thinking. And then we had the conversation from there. It's okay to not praise everything that everyone else loves. Like, again, as like I saw someone make a slick comment in the chat about how much I love Astrobot. I think Astrobot's the game of the year, personally.
I don't know, Paris.
I know not everybody does. Just like you love Sonic as much as you do. Not everybody does, but that's okay.
See, Paris, I'm going to start calling you Paris Stapleton.
Oh, what are we doing right now? That is not cool. Not cool.
On a serious note, I don't think we should feel any way about the indie score because it scored very well.
Yeah, which is good for Machine Games in that game. Absolutely.
Right. Like 86, 88, these are scores most other games would die to get. So like there shouldn't be any sort of victim complex with this score. You felt the way you felt about it, that should be fine. The game, but Kind of Funny's score did not hurt the game in any way, right? So no. You know, I think not most people, we should consider it a W that the game scored as high as it will, and most people like it. It does no one any good to, like you said, have a hive mind and you have to feel a certain way, right? Like the game did well, people like the game, critics like the game. That should be enough.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a thing of we focused. And again, if anyone actually watched it, you even hear towards the end, I'm like, wow, we were kind of being negative Nancy and was trying to be like, no, we're not saying to not play this game. I think it's a good game. Like, you'll see when you play it. Like, I think the puzzles are fantastic. I think the story is fantastic. We focus more on the moment to moment gameplay stuff that we thought could have been better and brought receipts. If you watch it, like, there was video evidence of what we were talking about. So, we're just pulling out a butt. My whole thing is this: it's okay to be critical of anything. Just be respectful. I thought we were respectful of the game and the people that made it, in our criticism. But hey, I'm happy that people love it as much as they do. I'm happy that people think it's a game of the year type contender. I mean, just wasn't at that level for me. Not something to not go play. Go play it, yeah. Of course. I just didn't think it wasn't something that was a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 type of game.
Yeah. I said it before on the show, and I'll say it again, and we can close it out with this. I like people, every time a new game from specifically Xbox is coming out, people are going, is this the one? Is this the one? Is this the one that will satiate the audience at large and become, the calling card of Xbox, right? It happened with Hellblade 2, and I warned people the subject matter and some of that stuff may not attack everyone or connect with everyone in that way, so it's not as 4-quadrant as you want. Every single game that has been released by them always has that asterisk here or there, Call of Duty notwithstanding. This is the closest to a 4-quadrant game I have ever seen them release in recent memory, right? There are some in the past. This is the most, the best version of that. And again, I'm waiting for more people to play it so we can have more deep, detailed talk. Yeah. So I can put more gameplay up because I don't want to spoil anything. It's awesome what I've played so far. I think it's great. Hope we can have more discussion on that. But Paris Lily, sir, we appreciate you always dropping in whenever you can. Thank you so much for being here. Let people know what else we can expect from you now that the Indiana Jones review has dropped. What else you got?
You can expect me to be taking a holiday break. That's what you can expect from me. Excellent. I'll be at the Game Awards next week. Okay. So or to that, anybody's going to be in LA going to that. Hopefully, we'll get to meet in person, say hello. So yeah, I'll be in and out around the area over a few days. I know Giant Bomb's doing a thing the day before, so if you watch the Giant Bomb stream, I'll be on that. And then yeah, man, it's gonna be a fun time. I'll just say to wrap it up, if I don't get to talk to both of you the rest of the year, it's been an absolute pleasure allowing me to come on your platform and chit chat with you guys about games. It was awesome getting to meet you in person at Summer Game Fest. Everborn. Absolutely. We'll have to make it happen in 2025.
Yes, 2025.
But hey, I just love this stuff, man. I love the community. I love the back and forth. We don't always have to agree because I know people don't agree with me all the time. But we're all in this because we love gaming, man.
Paris, there's something I've been meaning to ask you for about 2-3 weeks now.
Uh-oh.
Now, Tom Warren put out a tweet a couple of weeks back that said everything is an Xbox is about to make sense very soon.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
And you said you think so too.
I do.
And my mind, that tells me you know something that you're not telling us.
I don't know anything.
So if this is the last time we talk to you on GCP this year,
let's go. Spill that tea.
Let's go. I'm not saying
let me say this. Let me say this. Do you know over the summer I got in trouble about something I said on the Iron Lords podcast, Clute, clipping me, putting me out there. I know nothing. And that's all I'll say.
But see, this is different because this is GCP. We don't have those prying eyes looking here. You can say it here.
That's right.
We'll have me clipped and on the No, I know nothing, and I legitimately know. I don't know nothing. All
I
I
don't
know
believe
is
We're not doing ILP numbers, sir. Come on, drop
But
drop
you
a
keep
dime.
your
Let's
secrets,
go.
wizard.
I know nothing. I know
Sure
nothing. I'm hinting at nothing. I just agreed with
Sure.
Tom. That's all it was.
Sure. Okay. All right.
See you at the game
All
board.
right.
All right.
Thank you so much for being here, man. Talk soon.
All right. Thank you. All right, we got to hurry this up before I lose my voice because
Yes. And there's a lot of them.
I'm sure you hear it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Me too. I'm hanging on by a thread. I'm also like nursing a bit of a sickness, but we're trying to do our best to. The show must go on. So let me do this. Okay. So while I vamp, I will say, please, thank you so much for continuing to be here. Hit the like button. We're at 250 some odd people across all the various platforms. Hit the like button. Continue subscribing. If you have not been a subscriber, hit the member button if you want to support us in that way. We really, really appreciate it. What we are here to do right now, before we get out of here, is we want to discuss who we think, what games and or categories we think will be awarded at these here Game Awards.
All right. Do you have the Excel sheet ready? Because we need.
I have already started working on a bit of an Excel sheet, which basically is the title of the category and these contendants, the subject matter contendants, right? So whichever you choose or I choose, I'll put their names here. We'll put their names here, and then when we watch the show, we can come back and see who did what. Now, I haven't done all of it yet because it's a pretty long, substantive list. So let's at least go through some of these, and then if I need to, I can go back in and fill in some more. Okay.
All right.
So do you want to start at the top or start at the bottom?
Yes. There's a joke
at the top or the bottom.
But we'll start at the bottom.
Exactly.
We'll get to Game of the Year last. I want to. We can go in any order, but I want to do Game of the Year last. Before we start, though, Mr. Slow-Mo Backslap or anyone else from the inner circle, would you like to join for these predictions? Right now is the time.
Slow-Mo says he cannot be a part of our stream today. I messaged him some time ago, but he will give us his options. So
okay, put him in the chat if you can.
Well, this is what we'll do. This is what I'll do to make it easier on myself and for the rest of us. What I'll do is we'll fill in what we can right now, and then I'll put this spreadsheet in the inner circle chat, and anyone can go in and fill in their takes as well where they think it will fall. And then when this all comes to a head, we can all regroup and talk about it.
Let me ask you a question. Should we? Do you want to do a separate one, or do you want to also put this in the Discord so the community can the people who are not in the inner circle?
You know what? Once I have all this,
maybe do a separate sheet.
Yeah, maybe I'll clean it up and put a separate sheet and I'll put it in our Discord.
Okay, because everyone can take part. I would love it if the community could get involved as well.
Okay.
So we can pick a winner. Maybe we can give a gift for the community member that gets the most. Who knows?
Hey, look at that. That'd be cool. Yeah. So we're gonna start from the bottom, and let's be clear: we are not going to go through all of them because some of them we don't give a crap.
Yeah,
about.
No one cares about the best esports team.
So I'll go from the bottom and I'll work my way up. And I've already started. I started from the top and started putting in the categories here, and I went in this order. So I will. What I will do is I will just start. Since I started that way, that'll be a little weird. I'll start from the bottom here, and I'll just start filling it in. And then we'll work our way back to the top.
All right, we're gonna have to talk about your Excel skills, sir. And I don't even know why this is a Google sheet instead of an Excel.
Bro, I was 5 minutes from the show starting, and I was like, oh yeah, I should do this. So I opened because I need one that I can share to people while I'm on the screen, right? So Google Sheets works easiest. Post up, $5 super chat. What's going on, Post? He says just popping in to say what up. Shout out to GCP. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you being here. We need to have you on here one of these days, man. It's been a minute since you've been here. Maybe you might want to lend your voice to this, and we'll have you on the results show. But okay, let's get this thing started. Like you said, Everborn Saga, best esports team. We ain't about that. Best esports athlete. I don't know about that. Best esports game.
Long hair, don't care.
best content creator of the
Don't
year.
Care.
Chances are nobody that we know are.
All right, let's start with most
anticipated game. we can talk all we want about how we feel there are a lot of snubs.
All right, this is GTA 6. Let's cut it out.
This is GTA 6, right? And you know what? I don't even think this is worth putting on the list because I think we all agree this is GTA 6. Right? I think it's a foregone conclusion. If anybody in this chat thinks that we're wrong,
we should put it on the list because watch the Dark Horse be somehow magically Ghost of Yote wins.
Okay. So if that's the case,
for reasons,
the reasons. So, well, yeah.
I mean, the correct answer would be either Fable or South of Midnight or Doom: The Dark Ages.
You mean
these
games
are
that are not on the list?
Missing from the list, but
games that are not on the list. Okay, so
either of those three would have been my pick.
So Death Stranding. Whoops, Death Stranding. We have Ghost. We have GTA. Ghost, and I'll just give them short names. We have GTA.
Tell the truth, you couldn't spell Yote.
That too,
I couldn't.
Yes, yeah, that too. And I'm not even trying right now. We have Metroid Prime 4 and Monster Hunter Wild. So MP4.
You can't just copy those from the thing.
But then it'll copy the metadata as well and become really weird. Okay. Ooh, wow. So it looks like our streams have ended. At least on Twitter. It looks like Twitter's having some issues. And both of our streams on Twitter have ended. So if you were watching us on Twitter, we apologize. The stream, you probably can't hear us.
And you won't hear this if you're watching us on Twitter, but sure.
Yeah.
I guess we're sorry.
Yep. All right. So there it is.
GTA.
Most anticipated game. We say GTA. Oh, GTA. And I'll do all of this. I'll clean this up before the next show. So that's K and that's Everborn. We both think GTA. Okay, so there's that. I don't disagree. I think if any others would not even step close to this, GTA is definitely the one that's going to win.
All right.
Best adaptation. This one's scary, bro. This one's scary. And by the way, Fallout won at the Golden Joysticks Awards.
Yeah, I'm going. This is really between Arcane and Fallout, but I'm going Fallout.
Yes, you're going Fallout. Are you voting with your heart or your head on this?
Well, I wasn't as big of a fan of Arcane season 2 than I was of season 1.
Okay. Yeah.
But I just don't think I feel like a lot of people didn't even know Arcane season 2 came out. And it has kind of come
was
and
not
gone.
as big. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Fallout took over the world.
Okay. So, Like a Dragon.
By the way, when you copy some text, the way to get it is to paste
Control,
it into
Alt,
a
whatever.
notepad.
Oh yeah. To remove the filtering, the sorting.
And then you cut it from Notepad and put it there.
Yeah, I do it at work all the time. I just don't feel like doing it right now. Tomb Raider
You gotta step your Alt Tab game up.
Yeah, I know. Raider Legend. Tomb Raider Legend. That's fine. Let's see. Knuckles, Fallout, and Arcane. So Knuckles.
The thing about Knuckles, it was a great family show, but nobody watched it because nobody subscribed to Paramount Plus. So it doesn't stand a chance in this category.
Okay. And you think Fallout's winning this one?
I think Fallout was just too huge.
Okay. And in this instance, although I agree with you, so let the record show that I'm agreeing with you. I'm still gonna say Arcane just to mix things up. Right.
Thank you, Floodzilla.
Between the two of them.
Shout out to Floodzilla. Google Docs EU.
I know. It was the closest I could grab real quick. I should have done Office 365, and I may do that for next show. Anyway, so there's that. So we're 2 in. Best adaptation. Where is it? Best adaptation. Best multiplayer game. Do we really care about that? Yes, we do.
No, I think we should choose it. Okay. Helldivers. This is gonna go to.
You think this will be Helldivers?
Yeah, because they remember Helldivers is gonna lose in some categories, and they're gonna want to give this credit, and Call of Duty probably
over
should
COD Blops.
Right. Call of Duty probably should win, but I think it's going to be Helldivers. This is not like, come on. The way, if you look at the way the golden joysticks like was all over Helldivers, I think we're going to see more of that here.
It's very weird, right? I don't know, man. And don't get me wrong, I own Helldivers. I really enjoyed Helldivers, but I didn't think it deserved so much of the accolades that it's gotten. I don't know, man.
Yeah, but yeah, now if I'm picking what I think it should be, it probably should be Black Ops 6 for all the changes that they made and whatever. But I think it will be, because we're not talking about what it should be. We're talking about what it will be. Okay. I think it will be Helldivers here.
Okay. Well, all right. So what I'm gonna do, and if you see my screen, what I'm doing now is, actually, you know what? Let me do it this way instead, so I don't mess up the flow here. What I'm gonna do is, I'm not gonna put the spreadsheet up. I'm just gonna so I can type and do this at the same time. I'm just gonna keep the spreadsheet off the screen, and you make your determination. I'll note it down. I'll clean it up and present it later. So you're thinking that it will be Helldivers 2.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. But see, I need this is a trust but verify situation. I don't want you putting my name under the wrong things and then
no,
like,
bro.
Helldivers. You chose Mario.
Stop seeing beyond yourself. You need to learn to see beyond yourself. I'm not that man. If you're right,
I'm just
you're
saying
right.
Trust but verify. That's all I'm saying.
If you're right, you're right. I'm not gonna hold it against you. It's all good. Don't worry. You have to trust me. It's fine. You have to learn to trust me. So, best multiplayer, best racing. Clearly, best sports / racing game. What do you think, sir? I didn't play any of these games.
The idea that the college football thing is not on here
is not in this, yes, which is hilarious. Yeah. Yes. Oops, let me go back to it. Best sports racing. There you go.
I am gonna say this will go to EA Sports FC 25.
You think so?
Yeah.
You don't think it'll go to something like a WWE 2K24?
No.
Why not?
When was the last time one of those won?
Sure, but I'm just thinking about the sentiment of the community when it came out. Short of the NBA game, which the NFL game, which did have quite the splash. The only other one I remember hearing somewhat about was WWE 2K24. And I'm a big Top Spin guy, and I haven't even played Top Spin 2K25. So, like, you know, this is just a bad category. Well, okay, for us, this is the bad category. So you think this will go to the derivative of FIFA? Okay.
Yes.
All right, and you know what? I think I'll stick with you on that, because I don't think any of them really made that big a splash. So yeah, most likely it'll be what you're saying here. So 2K24. All right, so there's that. All right, so let's move on to the next one. So that was best sports racing sports strategy sim. Do we care? Do we want to do this one?
No, this is a good category because you have like all of these are super interesting. I think that this goes to, I want to say Frostpunk 2 a Unicorn Overlord, but I'm going to go with Unicorn Overlord. And again,
and give me your reason for why.
Because the voting audience does not strike me as the type to play Manor Lords and really the winner should be Age of Mythology Retold. It may still win because people know that brand. But I feel like the voting body is the type to play Unicorn Overlord.
So and why do you feel that? Because they like uniquely Eastern games? Is that it?
Yeah, listen. You know the games media don't be playing games. Come
on. he whispers after Paris Lily
I'm
leaves.
losing my voice. No, this is not about Paris.
I know.
But Age of Mythology could very well win it. But you know, Xbox tax. So I'm gonna put my money on Unicorn Overlord. Just
and I will say
of the voting body would have played that.
Okay, and I will say and again, this is another one where I'm just being contrarian just to mix things up. I will say Age of Mythology because they don't want to shout out completely shout out Microsoft / Xbox. They want to give them flowers for something. So this is where they get that, right? Because these are waters that few people play in, and Microsoft has proven themselves to be ones that love that water. So they may give them credit for that.
The next one's going to be Astrobot. Just forget it.
Best Family. You really think so? And I'm typing it wrong. So Best Family. You think it'll be Astrobot? If we think Astrobot is also Game of the Year, like potential Game of the Year stuff, you think it will win Best Family and Best Game of the Year?
Yes, they're gonna give Astrobot all the awards.
You think so? Okay, I don't know about that, man. Like I know Princess Peach won't get it because it didn't really do much in that world. I know that Mario Party won't get it because I don't know, man. People, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Mario Party did that much of a that numbers that usually a Mario game would.
I don't think so either. And Plucky Squire, that's weird. Like I see why they would put it there, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, that's because they know they're not gonna give it best indie game, so they put it here maybe. But I'm gonna go with Astrobot.
Okay, and I agree. I disagree with Lucius. Surprise, surprise. I actually think the Echoes of Wisdom was pretty fun. I know he ran
like trash. He didn't say.
It ran. Yeah. There you go. I know his criticism is more about its performance, but I didn't have to deal with its performance. So from a gameplay playing perspective, I really did enjoy that game. But I do agree that it probably won't get any of the real awards. So which one do you still think it's Astrobot? So okay, so Everborn,
just because that's the one they were all gushing over. But now someone Black John brings up Black John and Black Riley. The point is Astrobot's single player. So should it win? But what is
how can it win a family game? It's not really a family game like that, right? It's not multiple people can play it. Yeah, absolutely. Like it with that in mind, it would be a Mario Party game, right? If you're really talking about all of it.
Again, we're talking about the Astrobot Guzzlers. So
sure.
It will win in categories that it should not.
All right. So with that in mind, I will put Mario Party as mine because it is the multiplayer game in the mix. Best fighting game.
You know what? Okay. From now on, for the next couple, I want you to choose first because I feel like you're letting me choose and then playing the odds. All right. Okay. All right, but I'm gonna pick this one. This is Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
Okay, so Sparking Zero. And I'm building out the spreadsheet as we talk here. So DB Sparking Zero, and you said let's see, Grand Blue Fantasy. All right, and forgive us. Next time I'll have this all created before the show.
A lot of Tekken 8s in the chat, but I'm going Sparking Zero is huge, and it's more recent.
Okay. And then we have Multiverses, which I hate to say it, but Multiverses has really carved out a niche for itself. Like, will it win this? I don't know, but it has really carved out a niche for itself. People who play it love the heck out of that game. And then, of course, we have Tekken 8. All right. So, which one are you picking? You said Sparking Zero?
Sparking Zero, yes.
All right. So, Everborn is down for Sparking Zero. I'll be down for Tekken 8. I would have been down for Street Fighter, but I know Street Fighter is not in this. It was the year before. But I think Street Fighter is my favorite game, fighting game of the year. But because I'm playing it this year. But okay. So where are we now? We have best fighting, best RPG.
This is a good category.
Yes. So think about it. Best RPG. What are we thinking here? Where we have Dragon's Dogma 2. I even forget the Dragon's Dogma 2 came out this year. Holy crap. Dragon's Dogma 2.
All right.
We have Erd Tree, which really pisses me off that we're dealing with this as well. Erd Tree.
All right, so this is
we have Final Fantasy 7, FF7, Rebirth. Every time I hear Rebirth, I think of the Boomerang movie Afterbirth, but that's neither here nor there. Forgive me. Then we have Metaphor.
Now this is difficult because I'm playing the
Like a Dragon. Go ahead.
So the thing is, if they do in fact not give Erd Tree the big award, then they're gonna want to give it to it here, right? So it's like I'm gonna have to think about what I think Game of the Year will be to figure out whether they'll give it here. Now, if not, again, if Final Fantasy, because they're gonna want to give that credit.
So before you say I'm playing the odds, I'm calling it now. Metaphor.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna agree. I'm gonna go Metaphor.
Hey, look at you! Now you riding my coattails, son. There we go.
Yeah.
Everborn.
This is a very political category. It's a very political category.
It is a political category. Yes. Best action adventure.
This one's gonna be stupid. But I'm gonna say they're gonna give it to Astrobot.
Really? Also, like, geez.
Listen, the answer here is Prince of Persia. Right? That's what I would pick. But again, I'm playing the odds, and they're gonna give it to Astrobot.
Silent Hill 2. Let me see. I'm just filling it in right now. Star Wars.
Now, chat. I see Prince of Persia, and I agree with you. It actually is.
It's deserving.
My Game of the Year 2024. But what do you think the Game Awards will do?
Best action adventure.
Not what should win, what will win.
Yeah.
So that's for Big Bad Mo and JB.
So let's see here. So I have been on record as saying Best Family goes to Mario Party. If Best Family doesn't go to Mario Party, then I would say action adventure goes to Echoes of Wisdom. Because they gotta have a Nintendo game on display here at some point. There has to be some Nintendo game. But it's not about merit. It's not about whether they're weak or not. It's about, hey, we have to respect Nintendo. What can we give them? Right? We're talking the Keeleys here.
Yeah, that's why Astrobot's gonna win.
So you think Astrobot? Okay.
We should call this awards the glazing.
You think Astrobot? I will say, damn it, none of these are good answers. But I'll vote with my heart. Prince of Persia. I'll vote with my heart.
Well,
I know I'll be wrong.
At least one of us did. That's one I'm hoping I lose and you win.
I know I'll be wrong, but I'll say that. So, best action game. This stuff always confuses me. Best action adventure and then best action game. Like, come on, what are we talking about? It's about the same thing.
I'm gonna go Black Myth on this one.
You think not only will they nominate Black Myth, but they'll win. Wow.
Is it Black Myth nominated in other categories? Because I think they'll want to give Space Marine something, but I'm gonna go with Black Myth.
Okay. Helldivers 2 and the Yams, the Stellar Yams, and Space Marine 2. Okay. And you are saying you're going with Black Myth. Okay. Everborn's going with Black Myth. And this is another.
Now think about this though. Think about this. Just playing the odds here. The media did try to crap on Black Myth.
Yes.
So because that's
why it's even surprising that they even put this in here as a nominee.
Right. Now because they did try to crap on it, and it's the media that's voting on this. Maybe.
And before you say I'm riding your coattails, I've already chosen Space Marine 2. So
this is what I'm saying. Maybe the media gives this one to Space Marine, but I'm gonna go Black.
Okay, so there you go. I'm going Space Marine 2. You're going Black Myth, and that is best action game. All right, cool. So best action game, and then
Dorian
best
Gray
AR/VR.
Black Myth winning it all, but again, Dorian Gray We are not. I haven't chosen anything that I would want here. I'm choosing what I think will win. So do you believe statistically or whatever, like predictively, it will win or that it should win? All right.
So best AR/VR.
Asgard's Wrath.
I'm just. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Although I think it should. I think I'm the only
known quantity.
Yes, they're going to give it to Batman. Of course they are. Of course they are.
All right, I'm going with Asgard's Wrath.
Okay, so he's going with Asgard's Wrath too. Which, if I hope you're right on this one, because that would restore my faith in this process. But I think they're going with Batman because it's a known commodity. Arkham.
No, they're saying Batman, and it won the golden joysticks.
Yep, they won the golden joysticks. Remember, known commodity.
Nobody
and remember
played.
And remember, the last time they gave an award to a VR game, it was a game that's not actually a VR game. It was Resident Evil, right? They are about that known commodity, right? So if it wasn't Batman,
when you haven't played it, you go to the IP that you know.
That's right. Which is makes sense, right? So if it wasn't Batman, I would say the secondary would be Metro Awakening.
All right. Well, I'm gonna vote with the heart on this one and go with Asgard.
Okay. You're going with Asgard's Wrath, which is what should be the winner. Everborn going Asgard's Wrath. I am going with Batman. All right.
Me giving you a point.
Next category. So AR VR. Next category. Best mobile. Are we doing it or no?
Well, let's see. Let's see what the options are.
Okay. Best mobile. Oh boy.
Balatro.
Doggish. Oh man. I hope they don't give it to best mobile because they didn't come out on mobile first. It came out on console and
does
PC
not matter.
First.
They're not giving.
I know.
It's going Balatro.
You think it's Balatro? Okay, so Balatro.
It could very easily go to Zenless Zone Zero, but it's weird.
Yep.
The game has been out. And maybe they give it best indie and give Zenless here. But I'll
be honest with you. I have no idea what AFK Journey is. Away from keyboard Journey.
Buddy, what they know about is Balatro and Zenless Zone.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Pokemon, like the Pokemon trading card game, and then what is this?
Withering
Waves.
Can somebody tell me about Withering Waves? What is that about?
And then Zenless Zone Zero. ZZZ, the triple Z's. All right. So you are saying you're sticking with Balatro. I would accept this as a booby prize, if you will, if it doesn't win like best indie or best indie debut or something like that. Sir, I'll give you this one. I'll take Balatro. I'll take Balatro as well on this one. But I still think that the game is transcendent beyond just best mobile, and it should win like best indie debut, right? Which is the next category. Let's see. And that's also a tough category because it also has Animal Well in it, which is a really, really oh my God, that's a hard one.
You know what? They might want to give credit to Plucky Squire here too.
This is tough. Bro.
I'm gonna go on this one with Animal Well.
Yep, I actually think so too. Everborn.
We're both gonna be wrong, by the way.
Yeah, I think we might both be. Or should I hedge my bets on this one? Even though I think Animal Well deserves this one, right? I think Animal Well deserves this one. Either I go Animal Well or Balatro. I think Balatro could also take this one, and it would also be deserving. This is where I think the categories are tight because if you've played any of these, you can interchange them. Depending on the day,
I've only played here Animal Well and Plucky Squire, and either of those could win this from a merit perspective. So this is a good one.
How about Pacific Drive, though? Pacific Drive also got a pretty good splash when it came out.
I haven't played it, so I can't speak to it. But Animal Well did make noise for a little while. right? So I'm gonna go with Animal Well.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think even though I want to diversify my thought process on all this, I think I'll stick with Animal Well as well. I think I'll stick with Animal Well. All right, so that is best indie debut, best indie game period,
Balatro.
Best indie game period. Best. I keep doing that. Let me do this one more time. All right, so I have to click into the thing. Best indie.
I'm going with
Best
Balatro.
indie game. You're going with Balatro. So, but if hold on. If best indie debut wins Balatro, okay, I see what you're saying. So Balatro gets best indie game, and best indie debut goes to Animal Well to hedge the bets.
Right. Now JB 1521 points out, how the hell is Power World not on this list?
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Or did it come out? It came out this year, didn't it?
Yeah, it came out this year, January. Xbox exclusive until like August, and Xbox never got credit for that, but whatever. Yeah.
Then there's this. What's this one? Lorelei and the Lorelei. Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, and the Neva, and I actually checked out the information, the trailer for UFO 50. Pretty cool, man. It's like when we're talking TV shows, for example, it's like an anthology series of different games, right? Different games all brought together, and they're all speaking to other games that you remember in the genre. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I really do like it. We'll see if it does the upset. So, best community support.
All right.
Thoughts?
Helldivers.
Oh my God. Why? It got crapped on by the community for many a bad mistake. Are we saying that because they
have been nominated?
Yeah. Are we saying because they responded to the community, they got best community support now? I don't know, man. FF14, Fortnite.
You know, they might give it to Baldur's Gate too, because they're gonna want to give that an award again. But I am gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna go with Helldivers.
Okay, so best community support, Everborn goes Helldivers. So Everborn is Helldivers, and I will vote with my heart on this one because as long as it's on the list, it should always get it. It should always get best community support and best ongoing game. And what am I talking about? I'm talking about No Man's Sky. So there's best community support. K goes with No Man's Sky. So let's see. Best community support, best ongoing game. Here we go. And best. So what are your thoughts? What's with the evil laugh?
Okay.
And our choices are Destiny 2, Diablo 4.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll be right back.
All right. Final Fantasy 14 and Fortnite and Helldivers 2. Okay. So, best ongoing. For me, and I see you, Lucius. You're absolutely right. Where the hell is Sea of Thieves? Where is Sea of Thieves? Absolutely. Where the hell is Sea of Thieves? Anyway, I would say Fortnite. I would say Fortnite. So K votes Fortnite. I don't know what Everborn Saga votes, but folks in the chat, what are your thoughts? Best ongoing game. I think any list in ongoing that includes Fortnite is the answer. Right.
Yes. Didn't they give Cyberpunk best ongoing game last year?
Yes, they did, which is stupid.
Okay.
So
right.
Yeah.
So this award is not going to make any sense. It's not going to go.
Yeah, it's stupid. It's stupid. Yep.
So
what are your thoughts? What do you think?
These mother effers might do something dumb and give it to Destiny.
They gave it to Destiny 2. So you think it's Destiny 2?
No.
Destiny 2 or I mean Final Fantasy 14. People are liking 14 still.
They are. It could go to Final Fantasy 14. They're definitely not going to give it to Diablo.
No.
But then again, Vessel of Hatred did come out, and a lot of people like that.
But it's a
Microsoft. I think it came out in a crowded thing, and not enough people talking about it.
Come on, Microsoft game. Come on, Microsoft game. Come on, calm down.
Okay, wait a minute. Now again, I don't remember the last update I heard about Helldivers, but I'm gonna give it to Helldivers again.
You're giving it to Helldivers again. Okay. Everborn is doubling down on the Stony Glizzy. Here we go. Okay, let's go. So that was best ongoing. And then the next one is Games for Impact.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Yep.
Now, what I think so the most original game of this whole thing is Indica, if you've played it. So if I was choosing this myself, I would say Indica because of how it deals
Remember, it's not necessarily about the uniqueness of the gameplay. It's about pro-social meanings and messages.
I know, but this, in the way they deal with mental health, I think is handled with more of a deft hand than even Hellblade 2. And so there's a reason it's there. And if I was choosing it, I would go with that. But I think Zhao is going to win this one.
You think Zhao is going to win this one because they wanna like complete that image. He announced it first on Keeley's stage, and unless he is receiving an award.
Unless Keeley's a businessman here.
Yep.
And then he goes with closer the distance. But I'm gonna go with Zhao.
I think the upset here is Life is Strange Double Exposure. People
Could be.
love that franchise.
Could be, but they also did not super love the sequel in Double Exposure. So
okay. I think that might be the upset. Kay is choosing Life is Strange.
My personal pick is Indica, Zhao. But I'm gonna go with Zhao.
Okay. Everyone choosing Zhao.
Because Abu has friends.
Indeed.
And he also made a great game. Yes. He also made a great game.
Yes.
But man's connected.
Well, I'm not doing innovation and accessibility because I don't think we can. You want to see it? Okay.
Let me see it.
Because we can't speak to whether it deserves it or not.
At all. I can't speak to this at all, but
yeah, me neither. That's why I don't want to even.
I'm gonna guess that they're gonna give it to Dragon Age.
Okay, we can. I will speak to it, but I won't put it on the spreadsheet because I feel like it's unfair for us to do it on this one specifically. It should be, somebody. This matters and people care about it. So I don't want to do that. So you think it'll be Dragon Age? Okay.
Yeah.
What else? So we have, let's see,
best performance. This is a difficult one.
Yes,
but
it is. So
it should be Melina Juergens.
Yes, it should.
You know what?
Is it gonna be Melina Juergens? Are you voting with your heart or your head?
You know what? I thought Cloud got nominated.
Cloud won for joystick, for the golden joystick.
Oh, right, but he didn't get nominated here.
He didn't get nominated here.
Melina
Melina. So you know what? On this one, both you and I will vote with our hearts on this one.
No. That's strategic as well as voting.
You think so?
Yes.
Because I think Final Fantasy Rebirth could easily take it.
See, this is the problem. I have not played Rebirth. As a matter of fact, I don't think I've played any of these, but Hellblade.
Oh, wow.
But I think they're gonna give. And I own Silent Hill. Yeah. But I'm gonna go with Melina. She put in work there.
Yeah, we're both going with
because Melina. Also Hellblade isn't gonna win anything else, so they'll give her that.
Best sound design. And you're talking about it not gonna win anything else. Here's where I think Senua should win. Best sound design. Right? Not best score, best sound design. I think I think Senua Hellblade 2 is apt to win Best Sound Design for obvious reasons.
I'm over here about to pick Astrobot, but no, I'll go with Hellblade again here.
I will as well. I think this is a no-brainer. This is if it wins anything, this is what it wins.
You know what? Because you picked it, right? I'm gonna go with Astrobot.
Of course. All right. if Hellblade wins anything, it's this one. It's this one. This is the one that it should win. So hey, who knows? All right. Best score and music. Okay. Here's where, and I haven't played it. Right. People say, hey, Stellar Blade could win this one. Here's where I would say Astrobot.
All right. I'm going with Metaphor on this one.
You're going Metaphor. Okay. Wow. Okay. This one is anyone's guess.
When you start the battle and the dude starts with the humming heat, like.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going Metaphor.
So I think Astrobot could take this one on this one. Right. I think so. So there's that. And then let's go back out. Best art direction. Best art direction. What do we think about this one? This one's tough too. This was very tough. This is not something you should really even be comparing Astrobot to Black Myth to Erdtree to,
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the upset here is Neva. I don't think this is somewhere where Metaphor wins because it'll be like for the UI.
Yeah. I think Erdtree could upset here. I don't think Astrobot wins this one.
But the nostalgia feels that you know what? I'm gonna go with Neva.
You'll go with Neva. Okay. So Everborn is going with Neva on this one.
It's not gonna win.
Me, I don't think it's gonna win either.
It's either gonna be Astrobot
it's a good heart pick. Yeah, I'm thinking Black Myth on this one.
Myth.
I don't think Black Myth wins much. This it might win. I don't know. I think this one it might win. Okay.
I'm going with Neva.
So that's best art direction. Best narrative. Okay, best narrative. This one's a tough one as well.
It is tough, but they're gonna give it to Final Fantasy.
You think they're gonna give it to Final Fantasy?
I think they're gonna give
it. Fine. Do you think it deserves to be given to Final Fantasy?
Absolutely. Well, I didn't play it, but so now I have played.
Who do you think deserves this one from what you've played? I'm giving it to Metaphor.
Yeah, I am giving. I would say give it to Metaphor, but I just feel like Hellblade
is out there though.
Powerful
Hellblade is out there,
and what they were trying to say.
Yep.
So I would be between Metaphor and Hellblade, but they're gonna give it to Final Fantasy.
Okay. So everyone says Final Fantasy.
Gotta remember
I'm
the
sticking
rules,
with
like
Metaphor.
A-Rod just said.
That's right. I'm sticking with Metaphor.
Then again,
don't hedge. Stand 10 toes down, sir.
Metaphor might be anyway. Best game direction. Let's go.
Best game direction. Now I will hedge because after saying don't hedge,
I don't even know. What
I will hedge
nominees
and say, oh, you know what the nominees are? It's exactly the same nominees as Game of the Year, and that's why I'm hedging because this is literally in the same order. It's a copy paste of Game of the Year. So that's why I think this is the split vote. Whatever wins Game of the Year, the other one that would have won Game of the Year will win this.
Okay.
So
Erdtree's gonna win this, and Astrobot's gonna win Game of the Year.
Okay. So to keep things interesting, I say Astrobot wins this one, and Erdtree wins Game of the Year.
That's fine.
So you think Astrobot wins the best game direction? So Everborn.
Now, what I hope wins for either of these is Metaphor.
Mm-hmm. You think you hope that Metaphor takes it?
Yes.
Okay.
But what I'm voting for on this one is Erdtree, and Astrobot takes the main prize.
Okay. So. And that this obviously automatically that dictates who takes Game of the Year, which we both think is well, we don't both think. Hold on.
You think Erdtree, I think Astrobot.
You think Astrobot takes Game of the Year? Okay. Yeah, you think?
And I don't know how many times I need to say this. Maybe I don't need to say it at all. Okay. My picks are not what I want to win.
Yeah, your picks are what you think will win. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
all right. So now let's go to the
Excel. Let me recap. Let me recap. Yeah. Hold on here. There we go. So, and I won't show the spreadsheet because it's ugly, and I don't want to show the spreadsheet. So I'll just rattle it off.
Trickery, sir.
No, there's no trickery. I'll rattle it off, and you'll know. Right? I'll rattle it all off. We're gonna go from the top. Right. So, Game of the Year. If you look at this list, Game of the Year of the list, Everborn Saga chooses Astrobot to win Game of the Year. I choose Shadow of the Erdtree to win Game of the Year. Best Direction, Everborn Saga chooses Shadow of the Erdtree to win Best Direction. I choose Astrobot to win Best Direction. Best Narrative, Everborn chooses Final Fantasy Rebirth. I choose Metaphor for Best Narrative. Best Art Direction, I choose Black Myth. Everborn chooses Neva. Best Score and Music, I choose Astrobot. Everborn chooses Metaphor. Best Audio Design, Everborn chooses Astrobot. I choose Hellblade 2. Best Performance, Everborn and I both choose Melina Jurgens. Best Game for Impact, or Games for Impact, Everborn chooses Zao. I choose Life is Strange. Okay. Most Anticipated Game, and don't worry, I'll have all the categories listed here. Most Anticipated Game, Everborn and I both choose GTA 6. Best Adaptation, Everborn chooses Fallout. I choose Arcane. Best Multiplayer, I choose COD Blob 6. Everborn chooses Helldivers 2. Best Sports, both Everborn and I choose EA Sports FC 25. Best Strategy or Strategy Sim, I choose Age of Mythologies. Everborn chooses Unicorn Overlord. Best Family, Everborn chooses Astrobot. I choose Mario Party. Best Fighting, I choose Tekken 8. Everborn chooses Sparkling Zero. Best RPG.
Sparking Zero, not Sparkling Zero. That's a different game.
Sparking. Yeah, what am I talking about? Sparking Zero. DB Sparking Zero. Forgive me. Best RPG. Everborn and I both choose Metaphor. Best Indie Game. Everborn and I both choose Balatro. Best Community Support. Everborn chooses Helldivers 2. I choose No Man's Sky. And Best Ongoing Game. Everborn and I both, Everborn chooses Helldivers 2, and I choose Fortnite. Hold on, I think I'm missing one. Where's Best Indie Debut? Yeah, oh yeah, that's what it was. A few more categories. Best Action Adventure. Everborn chooses Astrobot. I choose Prince of Persia. Best Action Game, period. Everborn chooses Black Myth. I choose Space Marine 2. Best AR VR, Everborn goes with its heart and chooses I said Astrobot. Chooses Asgard's Wrath 2. I choose Batman Arkham Shadows. Best Mobile, we both choose Balatro. Best Indie Debut, we both choose Animal Well. And that's the list.
Right. We will rack up the points next week and see.
What I'll do is I'll revisualize it, make it nice and clean. I'll put a version with our answers into our Discord in the inner circle, so that our inner circle group can add their names to it as well.
But I also would like to,
and I'll create a separate one that has none of our entries, and I'll put it in the general gaming circle DM inside Discord. And I ask that all the folks who are in the chat right now, over the 200 folks that are watching us live, if you have a chance to join the Discord, right? Put your name in the list, provide what you think will win. We'll tally it all up, and we will have a show after the Game Awards to discuss who won and who didn't. Right? I think that's how we'll do it. Mr. Wolf, I see you in the chat. Infinite Umbra, a few other folks. I will post this into the inner circle chat where I will ask that you add your names to this mix as well and tell us what you think will win. But I think that's it. I think that's a good smattering of what we think is going on in the world of gaming today, including who we think will win the Game Awards, Mr. Everborn Saga. I think we're right around the time that we should end the show. What do you think, sir?
I agree.
At 3:30, and I know I hear you lost your voice. So before you stop talking, tell the people where they can find you, sir, where they can keep up with your ongoings.
Go to everbornsaga.com, buy the books. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Buy the books.
Excellent. I will say next week, the 14th, we will have a show. Next week, the week after that, the 21st, and everyone, please. Yeah.
One thing
I would think. Yeah.
Should be fine, but we have the last major software release for several apps at work on Friday night, and provided that doesn't bleed into the next day, I'll be fine. But if it does, I may be a zombie. So, but
understood.
For now, we're fine.
And I will put it out here now. Maybe we have some guests on the 14th show, because that will be the birthday weekend of Mr. Everborn Saga. So whether he's a zombie or not, we're gonna come here and have a birthday celebration on the 14th. The 21st, I suspect, will be our last show of the year. What do you think? We're not doing the 28th show, or do you want to do the 28th?
I definitely do not want to do the 28th.
Yeah, so the 21st will be our last show
in January.
That's right. Between these last two shows, you will get the results show of the Game Awards, right? And I think when we do the results of the Game Awards, to entice those of us who are in the Discord, if you want to participate, the winner who gets closest to getting most of these right will win an award. We'll put out a prize. I'll come up with a good prize that I think that most people will win. And you know what? For the heck of it, because this will be towards that Christmas season, the 21st will be our last show, and that will be the weekend before my birthday weekend. So we'll also do a giveaway for our last show as well. I don't know what the giveaway will be, but let me just say here, it will be a damn good giveaway. I'll put that out there right now. It'll be a damn good giveaway. So check it out. Make sure you're subscribed. We'll put some requirements. You know, the giveaway you'll have to be a subscriber. You know, you have to be following us and all of this other stuff. So maybe before the 21st show, we'll put out some information. So it'll be a damn good giveaway. So if you want to be a part of that. But for myself and Mr. Everborn Saga, you'll catch me on Monday night with Mr. John Wolf. We're also closing out our year on that show as well, talking some more handheld gaming. There'll be some interesting choice topics to bring up there as well, because of all the moving and shaking happening in the world of handhelds. But yeah, I think that's it. Mr. Everborn Saga, thank you for being here with me as usual. Thanks to the great Paris Lily for jumping in. Always great to have his takes as well. And yeah, I think we're done. Until next week, thank you guys once again. The folks in the chat, always here, always prolific, keeping the chat lively. We appreciate y'all. But until next week, have a good one. Peace.
Nice to be in orbit.